Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Damn straight it's our turn, and damn straight people want answers. Yeah, what are the odds of that, eh? Oh, yeah, I had to pop inside. The sun's just screaming. Yeah, so there you go. And a couple of neighbors are out too, and they're a little bit louder. So I will talk from in here for a little bit, and then pop out, hang out with the birds and the beautiful sunset. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Good, good, good. Welcome to Outside the Box. I'm your hostess, Kate of Gaia. Yeah, I guess the loudest mouth tranny on the web. Huh? How about that? That works for me. I'm sure it works for a few people. Anyway, there we go. So, interesting day. I say that every time because, well, every day is. When you're looking for some weird and wonderful things, you find weird and wonderful things. It's kind of how it works. And all you got to do is ask. That's it. Just got to ask. Nothing more, nothing less. So, just scooping over to the Skype room here, and holy smokes, you guys are just rocking and rolling. Anyway, so I'm going to do some shout-outs because I haven't done that in a couple of days. Not to the level I like to do it. I like people to know that I know they're there. But, okay, where are we here? Just checking posts. Just give me a sec. Excuse me, lots of interesting posts today, too. Well, I guess I can do shout-outs. There's no one chatting just yet on the Skype, but hello, Rachel, Catalin, 13 Tolman, of course, 4 others. Let's see who the 4 others are. And Rory, awesome poster, bud. As always. Yeah, you're just kind of going way outside the box with stuff, and it's really neat just to watch. So I just want to say a great big thank you. And, Karen and Kath and Susanna Cat. Susanna, absolutely love your words and messages. Wow, thank you so much. Just, yeah. That's pretty much it. That's all I can say. I like being overwhelmed. It's nice. Yeah, it's been a while. So there was an interesting post today. I'm going to share it with you guys, just for clarification. I saw this as a beautiful way of stating compassion. I'll know in a sec. Okay, as soon as my Facebook decides to act up, instead of being such a crazy thing here. I was working on Raining Cats and Dogs Part 2. I'm not quite finished yet, but I don't want to rush anything, and I don't want to feel pressure to have it on, but what I will do is share what I have of it tonight, if you guys are into that. And I've probably got about at least double what I've written to write again, so of course Facebook isn't responding. That's what Fascist Book is all about, especially when I'm on the air. I mean, it doesn't work great at the best of times, but it just slows down even more when I'm on the air trying to find stuff. And happy solstice, of course. It's already the 21st in Australia, so hello to everybody down under, just getting their day underway. Nice to have you. I love knowing that real Wizards of Oz show up. It's beautiful. So, great quote by Rumi, by the way. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And yeah, it's amazing how many barriers we build against love, and it's purely a defense mechanism of, being trashed lifetime after lifetime. We don't really get a fair start in it, but we got a good start this time because we have the finish as well. So just a mental note to your beautiful creative self here. As soon as I can get this scroll down, this is another beauty. I like putting these things out there for you guys so that when you hear it, you're hearing it from a voice resonant that says, I love you. And I need you to know that. That's my need, you see. This is what you are. You are creation. You are perfection. Allow yourself to unfold into all of yourself that you've been wishing to be. enough said there. There's more to that, but that was just wishing to be. That's all you need. Yeah, the essay kind of, well, it's in the direction of explaining the whole as above, so below with regards to blood, plasma, spirit, and all the rest of it. So, yes, it was Keith Occupy that shared this, so I'm going to share it with you guys. Excuse me. And it's a very poignant statement, and it resonated with me. And of course, you can look at it from one of two ways. It's I'll leave it. I'm not even going to plant any seeds on it. This for me is just all about compassion. And you're familiar with the saying, "A friend in need is a friend indeed," because generally the friend in need is the one that gave it all for you. That's what that really means. It's if you take it literally, it's like, what? I want to have a friend in need. Someone I need someone to suck away my resources and sponge out. No. And I got to tell you, for many years, I really had an issue with that statement because of the way it came across literally. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Okay, kind of had a bit of a diametrically opposed concept in there, but when you understand what it is, a friend in need is only in need because of what they've already done for you, what they've put out, everything, right? So here we go. Did you know the people that are the strongest are usually the most sensitive? That's true. Did you know the people who exhibit the most kindness are the first to get mistreated? That's very true. And did you know the one who takes care of others all the time is usually the one who needs it most? Yeah, it depends on what you refer to as need. And some people probably approach that in a materialistic way when it's actually nothing of the sort. Right? And did you know the three hardest things to say are "I love you," "I'm sorry," and "help me"? So I say that with absolute certainty and with no issues at all. This is to all of you: I love you, I'm sorry, and help me. Sometimes just because a person looks happy, you need to look past their smile and see how much pain they may be in. And we all know that. To all my friends who have been going through some issues right now, let's start an intention avalanche. And this is the avalanche, boys and girls. And this is about flowing the unconditional love, compassion out there. May I ask my friends, wherever you might be, to kindly copy and paste this status, which I've done, to give a moment of support to all those who have family problems, health struggles, job issues, worries of any kind, and just need to know someone cares. The intention's out there for all of those people that need that. Do it for all of us, for nobody is immune. And that is true of both sides of this playing field. I hope to see this on the walls of my friends. Yep, I've seen a few times now, just for moral support. I know some will. I did it for a friend, and you can too. And I like the idea. You have to copy and paste it, no sharing. Yeah, it requires effort. So when you're requiring effort to do something, it means the intent is there. That's what I talk about when I speak of intent, changing your intent just by doing something. Excuse me. It's something simple as I talked about before, boxing the signatures on fiat currencies, regardless of what type of quote bill unquote it is. There's another interesting thing that you guys may want to know for in the U.S. I'm sure it works the same here. But if you guys want to mail something, try this for a change. Just set it up as normal. Just don't include the zip code and put a 3-cent stamp on it. Yeah, it'll get there. Watch. Because you're sending it through a completely different jurisdiction when that happens, and it'll get there faster too, by the way. That's private mail. That's the real stuff. So, these are little things you can play with and try and have some fun with, right? So, you know me, I like I like doing that sort of stuff. Making judges bow and shit, and making courtrooms nervous and stuff. That used to light me up. Not so much anymore. I just see it for the comedy it is now, and that's all it is. And I can get into a rip-tear fest on that stuff tonight, but if you don't know by now that if you're walking into a courtroom with a name, you're actually committing fraud, and sorry, you're guilty, and they'll hand you your ass. Remember, court is exactly the same as lottery tickets. Why do people play lotteries? Because on the off chance they might actually win, right? That's the thing, right? You think, well, you can't win if you don't play. I've heard that hundreds of times. I said, well, yeah, you can win if you don't play because you got to keep the money in your pocket. You were just going to piss away anyway. But that's exactly what courts are. I mean, they're the ones that pull the numbers, literally. They're the ones that control the kitty and the draw bucket and everything else. And they're the ones that will decide, who wins on occasion to keep up that lottery illusion that, yeah, you see, when you go to court, you can win. Yeah, sure you can. That's what they want you to think. I would just ask everyone, have you not been fooled enough for long enough? I don't see. Let's talk about it in general terms. Even with all the vast knowledge that the free man, quote, sovereign movement, quote, sovereign citizen nonsense that everybody, is a part of and whatever. If we truly had all the answers, and it was undeniable win using their techniques, they'd be winning every case, every single time. See, that's the thing with me. I know why the judge bowed. And there's a handful of people that understand why now, but I'm really doing my best to get that out there. It's an ethereal game. They have to yield. That's really the long and short of it. And once you know who you are, and people say, "Well, I know who I am." Really? Okay. Well, here's a quick check to see if you know who you are. Really, I'm talking really know who you are. Excuse me. One, do you carry any sort of identification? Okay. And that doesn't include everybody, because some people do, and they know who they are. There's a different game here. If the answer is yes, and you don't see why there's any reason why you shouldn't, you're asleep. Here's a pillow. Back to bed. Okay, if you carry identification knowing full well that it's complete and utter fraud, and you're doing it out of absolute necessity, on occasion, such as carrying a passport to travel worldwide to get the word out, like Santo did, and a couple of other people that I know that do it, then you know who you are, and you're standing and acting in honor, because you know the whole system is fraud, and any name in the system is pure and utter fraud, and you're only doing it because you absolutely have to, not because you feel like it and it's convenient. It's when you're wrestling with yourself to actually, do I really want to use this piece to zoo? And I know talking with Santo a few times, he just did not like the idea of having to do that at all. And I told him, I said, listen, you know who you are. Just do what you have to do. We've got to get the word out. This is a completely different intention now. You're not using it blindly and like an idiot. You know what it is. I go back to when I got the emergency passport on my terms. And, I never got through customs so fast either way in my entire life. Not a single hassle. Just a lot of drop jaws. It was kind of fun, actually. But anyway, that being said, it really is about knowing thyself. And then once you get past that, you're out of the straw man, right? So, and of course you find the compassion. The Tin Man, and then of course find the courage to walk down that road a bit further. And I've heard many people say, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready to do this, that, and the other. So, well, if you're actually asking yourself the question, you're not ready at all. And here's the truth of the matter: you will never be ready. I promise you that. You will never be ready until you do it. Right? You got all these people that load up their cars with all sorts of supplies and camping gear and everything else, and they get everything, food loaded up and whatever, and then they lock the car up and go sit in the backyard. The car doesn't go anywhere. It's all loaded up, but they're not ready to go yet. So anyway, there you go. I'm just gonna pop in the room here and see if anybody wants to jump in a bit early, just to say hi or whatever. Being Thursday night, I believe Carol has her phone conference tonight, and that'll be about 8:45, 8:45 tonight. So maybe I can kind of, I'm not sure to get on and share the details for those that want to go hang out with Carol. We finished pretty much right on the clock last night. About halfway through the show, I hit the proverbial wall, and that happens on occasion. And I literally came in and I just packed my computer and put it over in my little sleeping area on the floor over there, and that's where I set stuff up at night. And I proceeded to watch Cloud Atlas for the 4th time. And boy, have I got some neat stuff to bring up tonight. So Ninja, the Super Ninja, is jumping aboard here. What's up with you, hon?
Okay, yeah, Super Ninja, you're mad.
Super Ninja. Don't get in the way of her blades. You think my chainsaw is dangerous? Good luck. What's on your mind, hon?
Nothing's on my mind. I just thought I'd come in early and say hello.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you. That's what I asked for, and you did. You set up a WordPress page for Critical Mass Radio?
I did. So the supporters of Critical Mass Radio.
That's it. Can you, I was going to ask you that last night and the night before, and I forgot. I remember tonight, though. Could you pass that information along to everyone that's listening right now, please?
Yeah, if you'd like to support Critical Mass Radio, so that this show that you're now listening to can stay on the air, and any other of their shows, their host shows that you may also like to listen to on occasion or every day, you can go to isupportcmr.wordpress.com, and it's a very, very simple site. There's really only 2 pages on there at the moment. Well, 1 page, 1 post. Check it out and spread the information around if you feel able to offer your intent for the station to stay on the air. That's a great service. If you feel able to spread the word on your social networks, that's another great service. And if you are able to make a donation to the cause, to the funds, then that is also a great service. They're all equal. No one thing is more important than the other. And so, do what you can. All 3 of those things, or 1 or any number of them, much appreciated. And when you have done those things, any of them, please do leave a comment so that we can see, what you have to say, and just get a nice vibe from whoever's visited the page, and, just support CMR. Thank you.
Oh, exactly. And that's a really critical point you just made there, too. If you're going to pop by, make a comment. Flow your intent, flow your energy there. And, the 3 ways you can do it is intention, of course, and getting the word out. And if you can, great, chip in. But you'd be amazed at how much power you wield just by sharing it around and bringing more people to this table. Still got lots of seats. It's an infinite table. And the more, the merrier. And, I've been doing my part for years in terms of getting people to this table. And I'm very grateful that you guys have showed up. And if you're digging what's going on, if it's actually resonating with you and making sense and feeling good and getting, mental results, heart results, then by all means, all you got to do is share a link. And I know a lot of you do. I see the share page posts on Facebook. And, you have your own network of friends and family and whatever. And it's a no harm, no foul, just by sending a link around. Let them figure it out for themselves. And a lot of times people as well, and how many times have we made this error? People have, said, well, I don't think so-and-so would really, get into it or whatever. And I said, well, how do you know? Seriously, how do you know? I've come across a lot of interesting people in my days that, at first glance or first conversation, you kind of think, oh, no, they really wouldn't want to get into something like, this or whatever, only to find out that that's exactly what they're all about. A lot of times people won't open up. for fear of retribution. You know it's like with knowing the truth and trying to share it. Stop wasting your time in that regard. But definitely, plant the seeds. Just do the little seeds game that I talk about. As above, so below. It's like taking a handful of hemp seeds and throwing them out in front of the police station, front lawn. Really? Why not? Can you imagine man-made laws trying to outdo the laws of creation? Is that arrogant or what? But anyway, there you go. Definitely. And I know that Paul with Critical Mass is running 2 full platforms, like full-on platforms. And I know typically for a year per platform, you're talking probably about $1,200 to $1,400 to keep that platform up on prime time. So, and he lets me do this. Au grazie. This is CMR doing this for us, right? This is Paul, Lisa, and the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk. That literally, we were down on the Friday night. Next, Saturday night we're back up on CMR. Didn't miss a beat, and no questions asked. Just go, get her done. So there you go. That's the kind of people we're dealing with. Pretty good, eh? I think so too. Yeah, I couldn't be more appreciative, and you can call it, for me, this is almost like spiritual therapy, right? Where I get to go through the things that I do, downloads and whatever, and then just share them, and people can jump in as well and be a part of that. But I did want to share a couple of beautiful coincidences. I shared one of these with you already today, Ninj. I'll back it up a little bit, and because I was talking about Cloud Atlas last night, and what I want people to look for. The common thread that you're going to see throughout the whole movie is that in each of the lifetime segments, and it ranges from 1849 to 2144, okay? And each lifetime has a different setting. There's also a almost real-time but fictional story movie that is going on inside of it as well. That one will take a little while to explain. I'm not going to bother. But the key thing that I want you to watch for is the consciousness of the individual is marked by a birthmark each lifetime. And that birthmark is a comet. It's like a shooting star. Okay? And a couple of the characters that you see it on, it's very brief. There's a couple that are very blatant, and there's others that are very, very brief. And you don't see the last one until the end of the movie. Okay, so it ties it all together very neatly. You'll see how there are mirror reflections of things in people's lives that seem to repeat themselves. Mirror, mirror. And the common thread of the consciousness of the individual occupies different beings at different stages, yet that same being is surrounded by the same group, the same soul group, if you will, and as they interact with each other. Excuse me. So, which I thought was beautiful, interesting, and very clear to see. So that's the Cloud Atlas. Now, this morning, it was Susanna Cat sent me a video of the Jackson 5. And what was it called again, Ninj? Show Me the Way to Go?
Yeah, the song is Let Me Show You the Way to Go, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, working in the now moments, I take things literally in the now. So I look at things as they come up. So I saw that and said, okay, well, there's the universe telling me, let me show you the way to go, right? So I said, okay, universe, I'm in. So I clicked on it. And as I'm watching this video, it's great to see the Jackson 5. Of course, Jackson 5 is my life path number, so that resonated immediately. But it was really cool to see Michael Jackson. MJ, there's a tie-in there as well, do his thing with his brothers, right? I thought that was pretty cool. But as I was watching, there was a couple of brief instances where, when Michael's performing, very young Michael, I might add, the camera comes behind him and you see the back of his jacket. And what do you think's on the back of his jacket? Shooting star, comet. Looks just like the cloud atlas. And what is an atlas for? Well, an atlas is to show you where everything is, right? So cloud atlas, I have to look up a couple other things with regards to the sextet and do some background into that. I'll follow a trail there. I know it'll be neat. They always are. They always end up somewhere. Perfect, by the way. And then, of course, as the camera pans back, you look at the lights over top of them while they're performing on the Top of the Pops TV show, and all the lights are in the shape of an octagon. So there's another form of spiritual theft, stealing that energy. So, and that's something, it's been around for a while, but it's just come back into my reality a lot more lately. And then, of course, what resonated next with me, of course, I read the Ta-Ro, or the thank you spirit breath. All right, Ta-Ro, right, Taro. And what came to mind, just based on the pictures, the way the pictures are laid out, is on the cards that I have, the Arthurian deck. It's the card's called the Fire Drake, I believe, or let's see. I think it's it is the Fire Drake. Yeah, the star, the Fire Drake, ruled by coincidentally Aquarius. Neat, eh? So that's card 17, and there's 22 cards in the major arcana. And if you remember back to February when the lightning struck the Vatican, almost immediately someone sent around a picture of the Rider-Waite deck that has the picture of the tower with the crown falling off and a lightning bolt hitting the top of it. And I mentioned that back then, during that time, in relation to the tarot deck and how things, they've got the Illuminati playing cards. I've got the Universal playing cards. So I'll see you and trump you with the cosmic laws. Here we go. So anyway, the star is number 17. So we have the ones that are left are the moon, then the sun, then judgment, then the universe. All right. So things are playing out rather neatly. But here's the meaning of the star, ruled by Aquarius, card 17. Hope, a good omen and inspiration. Rebirth and opportunity. Rejuvenation of the spirit after a trying and traumatic time. Freedom and a clear head allows a broader vision of the future. A chance to take a deep breath, contemplate, and draw inspiration from the natural beauty that surrounds you. Recognizing and believing in the future. Wholeness and healing. The calm allows one to connect with the soul. Destined aspirations now seem to flow naturally into reality. Faith brings strength and peace. Recognition, a welcomed leader, openness, and a free flow of energy. So here's the description and symbolism of the card itself. Beautiful card. If you get a chance online, have a look at the cards. That's called the Arthurian Tarot. And I had another. It'll be in the essay later, but I'll give you the heads up on it with regards to Artorias. But here's a description and symbolism of the star. The dragon of comets heralds the promise of a new era. The storm clouds of the tower have passed, followed by clear skies indicating calm, fresh air, and a chance to regroup. In this peace, one can recognize good omens sent from above. There's your now moments. The comet blazes through the heavens and the hearts of people. The star was thought to be a divine messenger. The call of destiny instills great hope and faith in brighter days to come. The smaller star represents aspirations, and the coming of the comet encourages one to take heart and reach for them. The horsemen ride in an open landscape, reflecting the freedom associated with the card. The winds blow cobwebs from the mind, clearing it of complicated details and dead wood. Now we are able to recognize the broader scope of things. Here, the horsemen break from their journey, water the horses, and marvel at the sight. This symbolizes that one can be content to rest and contemplate at this point in time. One of the horsemen draws water from the lake. This represents tapping into a free-flowing source of energy. The water is a source of life. It purifies and heals the weary. With this rejuvenation and new clarity of vision, one can appreciate and draw both strength and inspiration from the surrounding beauty. Hence, the fireflies in the foreground, hearts are warmed by the sight of little beacons in the night. And it's interesting because walking down the trail not so much the last couple of nights, but it's been very cold, but it'll be nice tonight. Watching the fireflies. So these are all things that, when you're paying attention and now and you start seeing them, you start recognizing them for what they are. These are not coincidences. These are not, fluke. Not at all. Nothing is a coincidence. Nothing. When you really don't believe that, know it. Right? There are no coincidences. Everything for a reason. All things in their time. And the time is now. What are the odds? Anyway, so. Lots of neat stuff tying together. And of course, I'm going to do my best to convey it. It's easier for me to do it in essay form where I can really get down to the meat and potatoes of it. Because those are downloads as well. Unfortunately, I can't type as fast as it comes in, but I'll do my best anyway. But I thought that was neat. What was the tie-in you had, Ninja? You had a tie-in with that video this morning when I shared it with you.
I'm not sure what you mean, unless you mean that I might have been in the studio when that was recorded.
You might have been, yes.
Yeah, that's true. There is a very definite possibility. I'm not sure which year that video was recorded, but there's a very definite possibility I may actually have been in the studio live on Top of the Pops that night, because I did go there once around that kind of time, and the Jacksons were on that night that I was there, but I can't quite remember which Top of the Pops host was on that night. It's an awful long time ago, people, please, forgive me, my bad memory.
No, that's only a few months ago. Yeah, it's funny. I'm not sure if it was 73, 74, or 75 that video was in, but I remember too.
I think. Well, I was there. It would have had to have been 75 or 76. I was there, most likely early 76. So I don't remember now.
Okay, well, based on the song that I heard and the ages of Michael and everybody else, it would have had to have been 75 or 76, because it wasn't long after that they parted ways.
Yeah, well, there's a strong possibility I was there doing my little dance with my friend from school. Her father was a musician, and he actually was one of the fiddlers in the Fiddler on the Roof movie.
Wow.
And so he was kind of connected to different people in the music industry. And actually the reason how come we got the tickets to go, her and I, was through her father, whose friend knew one of the dancers, one of the Pan's legs, whatever they were called at that time. And it was her, and her name was Rosemary, one of the blonde girls. And she actually got us in that night. And because the BBC TV studios where they recorded Top of the Pops was up the road literally, and round the corner from where I used to live, and along the way from where we went to school. So it was very local.
No doubt. So again, even to be in that mindset, what are the odds?
Well, we keep coming across this, don't we? These strange things. Yeah.
Well, it's like shortly after I had a chat with you as far as working with me closely. Here I am traveling down the road, and I look over, again asking, what do I need to see? And I turn to my left, and down the road there's a van parked in a driveway, and on the side of it said Higgins, and then I looked up to my right, and there it was, Share the Road. So that was me. These are the confirms, and this is after the fact. So it was like, on the right road. So they're beacons. If you can see them, they're beacons. And they are screaming at you. I also want to include in this essay as well the concept that I've been trying to convey regarding the present if something is pre-sent, it was sent ahead. That's what I mean about being in the pre-sent, because you're in creator mode. I gave the example. Let me try again tonight, just to see if I get it clear. So I don't know if it's sinking in or not, or if I'm getting it across. So I'll know when I do, because it'll feel right. It just didn't quite get there last night. So the pre-sent is something that was sent ahead. It had to be created before you got there. It had to be something in existence, waiting to be there when you asked for it. It had to be created, literally by you, right? Put them in that's your path, your thread, right? So what I was saying last night was, if let's say I'm just traveling along and these moments hit when they do, and I just okay, well I'm gonna have a look to see what I need to see, and I'll just say it. I have eyes to see and ears to hear. Universe, what is it that I need to see right now? Show me the way. And then I will wait. And let's say whatever I'm thinking about prior to that. This is the power of your thought. Whatever I'm thinking about prior to that is already in the universe. So let's say I am thinking about the name, as I talked earlier about the name game and whatever, and I'm looking for a confirmation of sorts, or tell me to change roads, right? And as I'm just asked that question, I'm driving along, and then this truck that I couldn't see other than in my rear view behind me decides to come out and pass me, and on the side of the truck it says no name brand, right? And that would be my indication, and this happens to me all the time. It would be my indication that yes, I'm on the right track. And then it's like on last Saturday, I turning my CD up at the exact moment, and what song is on there is this beautiful lead solo into the chorus, "Show Me the Way." So, I mean, these aren't coincidences, guys. If it happened, once a month or once every couple of months or whatever, fine, I get by that. But if it's happening 10, 15, 20, 30 times a day, there might be a little bit more to it than most people will give it credit. And of course, we have been placed in such a level of doubt of ourselves. We can barely trust ourselves, and that's all we're asking ourselves to do. Trust thyself, know thyself, to thine own self be true. And when we ask ourselves the question, our higher self, we're going to get the right answer. But the tricky little bastard in the background always wants to make sure that you doubt it, and there's a lot of garbage there, and that's the thing too. The older we get, the more garbage we accumulate, until we finally get to that point and say, I've had enough, I'm going to start getting rid of the garbage. And there's certainly this game is a lot better for those that are younger to wake up into. That way they haven't had all of the, the illusions and being caught in the game, for as long as many of us have been. Me, I was lucky. Just with this nature of being I am, and the way life kind of came at me, it was a lot easier for me to see. But I wasn't, sure, I got knocked to the ground countless times, but I always got back up. And one of the things I said when I did get back up was, good, I got up now, so that means I'm stronger than that, and I'll never have to deal with that again. And that's the truth. As soon as you take a smoke and then get up, just get up and say, that's it. And nothing like that can ever affect you again, which is a pretty cool thing, I think, anyway. That's just my opinion. And you know what opinions are, right? Just like what? Yeah, you know the routine. One sec. Okay, there we go. Sorry to clear my throat. Yeah, so I mean, we've got lots of clues there. If you got to learn to trust yourself again, and you got to. Anytime you hear that little voice coming in that says, "Well, that's not possible," and just shut it up. That's the ego. That's program. And the remnants of whatever program you have running will be there until you finally nullify them. But understand what they are, and if there was a TV set talking to you, with no brain, it's just shooting garbage out, would you believe it? And that's what your ego is, right? It's just it's programmed. It's a TV episode. Think Fred Flintstone with the little angel, little devil, right? The angel's you, the devil's the eagle. And it will play devil's advocate all day long. Promise. So there you go.
I've got a neat little story, Kate.
Share it, please.
Yeah, it's on the subject of what you're talking about trusting the universe, to give you what you need, the clues, the signs, signals, whatever, if you're willing to listen, when I was, I don't know, let's say I was 12. I could have been younger, I could have been slightly older. I think I was about 10 or 11, something like that. Anyway, my mum was a bit broke, and it was a Saturday. And she said, slight problem, Cheryl. What is that then? She said, well, I haven't really got enough money to buy what we used to have on a Sunday. It was always a big sort of roast chicken dinner, That was the thing every week. And she said, well, yeah, but I don't have enough to buy it. She said, so, She said, I know. We'll go across to the bookmakers over the road there, And she said, because maybe I can win the money on a horse. So she said, come on. And I went with them. We went across there. And she only had 50 pence. And this was in the 70s. 50 pence was quite a lot, but it wasn't enough for all that, And she went across there with me, and we looked on the board in the old days where they still had to chalk the next race up on the board, before the satellite racing. And she looked up and scanned what was running in the next race. And there was a horse running. And the name of it was, now remember what I just told you, we had every Sunday religiously, that's the only religion we had in our house, was every Sunday a roast chicken. And this horse running was called Mr. Chicken.
Perfect. I know the one I'd be betting on.
So, yes, indeed. So she said, well, here we go. That's the one. What do you say? And I looked and I went, oh, yeah. And she said, right, I've got 50 pence. That's all I've got. No messing about. 50 pence to win. So, on it went. And we stayed in the shop and we watched the race. And sure enough, it won. And we went up the road to the butcher, to the da-da-da, got everything we needed, and that was the story. So that was how I was raised. That was who taught me how to think about life, who taught me to follow my
Yellow
instinct.
Brick Road.
Yeah.
That's your Yellow Brick Road. Now, inquiring minds want to know, what were the odds and how much did your mom get?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember. It wasn't the favourite. I'm sure it wasn't the favourite, but I can't remember. So
it could have been like something like 4 or 5 to 1 odds. So
3 to
definitely
1, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was enough.
£1.50. Yeah, £1.50.
Yeah, whatever, it was enough. I really can't remember.
That must have
I
put
just have that stuck in my head, that event, because your life is shaped by certain events, and that was one of them. That she trusted the universe because she's, well, look, here it is. I haven't got enough anyway, so what difference does it make? That was the attitude.
Yeah, again, this is going all in on, there's your leap
of
faith.
All in,
babe.
poker terms. I didn't know poker terms in those days, but that was what it was. It was all in. Yeah.
Going for broke, and or Let It Ride. There's another great movie. If you get a chance, someone that, I think it was Richard Dreyfuss was the star in that one. Let It Ride. If you get a chance to watch it, see, these are the things that come to mind. This is why you stay in the now. But the whole story about it is this guy has had a gambling addiction most of his life, and the whole movie is based on the fact that he starts out in the morning with I guess less of the money that he had, and he said, if I win big today and everything's done, then I won't ever do this again. So he said, I'm just going to let it ride all day, right to the last race. It doesn't matter what he wins on each race, if it wins or whatever, he's putting it all in. Absolute faith. And, first horse race, he bets what he has, and the odds are pretty good, and it gave him a decent amount of money. By the end of this race day, he's got the whole race horse, spectating community watching him and cheering him, and It's just a movie. He wins it all. He takes the whole thing home. And let's just say it was an exceptional amount of abundance, and that he would never need to worry about ever needing to gamble again. So that is a universal lesson. He trusted himself so much, and there were people telling him, listen, you've got, I think at one point, like, you've got $100,000 here, and, why don't you just take that? And he says, no, I made a deal. I'm all in. I'm going to ride this out. And the movie's called Let It Ride. So that's what we need to learn to do. We need to learn to let it ride. The universe has you. It has you perfectly in its arms. It's our lack of trust. And in this particular game, now you can look at, stare at the distractions all day long, the bad guys, good guys, this, that, and the other, and all the rest of the nonsense that goes on with it. But when you start to see it for what it is, it's a test. It's a test to see if you know who you are. It's a test to see if you can trust yourself with yourself. And that's all this is. And all manner of distractions are out there. And I'm going to do a shout out for, all these people that are still talking about chemtrails and the rest of the crap that goes along with it, okay? There hasn't been a chemtrail in the sky here for over 2 weeks. So I've had enough. Not on my watch, thank you. And sure enough, nothing. Okay? Where you put your attention, where your attention goes, energy flows, you're creating it. So if you want to really help the system along, please stay focused on it. They love that energy. They keep building it up more and more. You're granting it consent by saying it's there. Right? But Kate, that's your delusional. It's physical. No, okay, well, you're seeing the physical. I'm seeing both. I'm seeing the physical and the ethereal working together. And of course, are you going to trust your higher self because, well, you can't, quote, see it, unquote. And there's the real test. That's learning to trust yourself. That's learning to go all in. And I'm doing my best, my level best, to share as many analogies, allegories, as I walk my own yellow brick road. You guys are walking alongside with me here. We're doing this together. I'm still learning too, right? Goes back to the song Rescue. I'm still learning how. And as I'm learning, I'm sharing. And then, of course, as I'm learning stuff and sharing it, and other people are learning stuff and sharing it back, it's exponential. We get to be our own best self-support team. It's like when I'm talking with Ninja, that story you just shared, Ninja, about your mom. That's a perfect example of, well, I've got nothing else to lose. I'm all in, right? Now, I look back at my own deal of all in. There was a bit of balancing had to take place in order to get me at 0 point. So, you can take it well, I've certainly taken it from both angles, I'll tell you. How can it be a good thing? Damn it! And I ran the mill, baby. I ran that full gauntlet, and I got to experience every emotion, confront it, deal with it, move on. And still, little trickles of it here and there, but I know what it is now. And that's a whole different game. But I look at it now in that I would never have found what I find now if I was still caught up in it. If I was still caught up in the illusion of the physical meat stick and whatever. And really, I had to get pared down, literally to the spiritual bone. And when that happened, and of course, it's about accepting the reality of it, going, oh, yeah, there's things that I have my up days and my down days. I'm still human. I still run the emotion gauntlet. They don't control me. I just observe them now. Because there's the other side of the coin. You cannot be ruled by your emotions, nor can you deny them. They're there. You have to neutralize them. You have to see why you're feeling what you're feeling, and then take a look at the mirror, the flip side of it. Because if something makes you feel absolutely terrible, there's something in the exact opposite in the mirror that will make you feel absolutely wonderful. It's how you look at it. It's not the situation, that's the effect. You get to be cause over it by checking out the head of the dragon and the tail of the dragon, and then standing on the rim and beating your chest like King Kong atop the Empire State Building. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Okay? So, that being said, how about I share a little bit of love writing, Ninj? That work?
Oh, yes, please. Always
okay.
Keen to hear what comes next.
What comes out of this head? Okay, let me see. Well, I'll tell you, what comes out of it is what comes into it in real time. Like I said, I had been working on it, and but I didn't want to rush myself today. I think I only got maybe 6, 7, maybe more than that paragraphs, but it'll be a fair bit longer when I'm done with it. But it's Raining Cats and Dogs Part 2. As soon as it's done, I'll probably finish it up in the morning. As soon as it's done, I will be posting it. You'll get a copy immediately as well, Midge. And I'll be posting it on Katie's Cove on Facebook, and I guess at some point after you get it, it will be on kateofgaia.wordpress.com. So, looks like the puppy's getting in trouble. That's Chloe next door. I love her. She's so cute. It's just adorable. Like, stunningly cute little puppy. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Live radio. Here we go. Yes, and you can hear the birds. Anyway, Raining Cats and Dogs, Part 2, by yours truly. Alas, the tales of werewolves and vampires abound in our literature, movies, and so forth. Stories of zombies walking the night in search of brain food have been more prevalent of late, with even the mainstream alphabet gangs jumping in on the fray. Where most will be entertained by the literal presentations, most will never see beyond the obvious to see the truth buried just out of view. Always keep in mind the term as above, so below, as below, so above, as we delve into the far more esoteric nature of this fabric we see as veiled reality. Indeed, it is veiled, and quite cleverly so. It is so obvious once you see it, you'll wonder how you missed it. At least I know I did, for a while anyway. The atypical vampire, for example, is a dark creature that prowls the night in search of blood to keep itself as one of the physical immortals. Without the daily nourishment of blood, it cannot survive. Such is a lust for this food. Killing and draining others is just part of the lifestyle. They're also rather difficult to dispatch, with either dragging them into the sunlight or driving a stake through their hearts. The allegories are rife, and many with more layers being exposed as to what it really means, and who and what they really are. While I'm sure there are many beings that practice the physical art of bloodletting and drinking, much akin to Vlad the Impaler, bloodline relative to Prince Charles, no less, the true bloodletting is slightly more hidden and sinister. If it's not bad enough being drained of our day-to-day life forces, being preyed upon for our creative energy, the truth lies just out of view. It is merely a matter of connecting the dots to see where our true spiritual energy is being siphoned off without us giving a second thought, when we do this every day numerous times. For a little background, one needs to understand what blood actually is. The medical profession will have us believe that it's just a liquid carrying nutrients and oxygen through our bodies, but then I'd have to ask them to define plasma, as in blood plasma. Try to imagine a pump with walls no more than 2 millimeters thick at its thickest point, trying to pump a viscous liquid like blood to every point in a body, under pressure, 72 times per minute for 100 years. Now factor in the atypical morbid obesity of so many of our population, and you'll get the notion that there is slightly more going on. Blood is a rather special liquid in many ways, but most don't know what it actually that it actually travels via implosions, delicately timed and balanced by the heart, which is your central sun, or Merkaba. Thank you, Matt Presti and Robert Otte, for your invaluable insights on this fact. Plasma, from Latin, from late Latin, plasma, from Greek, plasma, something molded or created, is the matter of creation itself, literally an ethereal liquid between worlds. While much of what I'm sharing here might be a newer concept, the connected dots bear it out intuitively where the analytical ego may scoff. Modern science has uncovered many things regarding the human body, but most of that remains on a need-to-know basis. Well, here's what you need to know. Blood is liquid ether, aka spirit. Spirit is the ancient word for mother, or in short, creation herself. One of the biggest issues I see with people is that they are blissfully innocent and can't imagine doing to others what some do daily and without conscience. Here's a fact in that if one seeks to catch a serial killer, one must learn to think like one and confront the darker side of the imagination. For lack of a better way to say it, if I was a vampire and in need of daily sustenance, where could I get blood plasma without anyone knowing or simply caring? How could I get the masses to give me that plasma daily to survive, where I'd only periodically have to butcher someone to get it? For a vampire, the occasional slaughter of a child or someone would be like going out for dinner after a boring week of basic survival. Again, keep in mind the allegories here in that all things are purely electromagnetic, or more accurately, magno-electric. If I wanted to be the master over this world, I'd also have to be active in the duality of spiritual and physical control of others. Well, that only makes sense to me. For a little basic biology, in layman's terms, let's look at the blood circulatory system as it relates to cleaning the blood. We intake nutrients into the stomach, it's broken down, and the nutrients enter the bloodstream for delivery to all points of our bodies. The blood has to pass through the kidneys to be purified, and where nutrients can be balanced, as well as the water content. Whatever isn't required at that moment gets strained off and deposited in the bladder, where the waste is purged through the intestines, where excess water is also strained off to maintain equilibrium. Please don't forget that the human body is a finely tuned and perfect biological engine. The body knows exactly what it needs in the now. It does this all by itself, by design, so that you, the being, don't have to remember to keep your heart beating, hair growing, temperature control, digesting, separating viruses, etc. That's what the DNA program is for. With the blood purified and balanced, the remainder of the purified excess is placed where it can be used if necessary, since the strained plasma is pure life force. This liquid contains stem cells, aminos, proteins, and living life force itself, being that it is a blood extract. Simply put, would you willingly shove a needle in your arm to get rid of your blood on a daily basis? Well, I hate to tell you, that's exactly what we do when we toss our urine into the sewer cesspools. Cess in Latin means tax. So what exactly are we being cessed for? Do they not call the places where the sewers are connected to water processing plants? And what exactly are the plants they're growing? Alas, too many questions keep popping up, but I'll keep this as simple and basic as I can, since it is only the concept with God I am seeking to share. Sept is 7, French. Okay, concept with 7 with God. Okay. This is a perspective that I know few, if any, have looked into from extremely outside the normal think realms. In order to maintain control over us, one has to control mind, body, and soul, yes? The body, one, is easy since it is a constant topic every day in the form of genetically modified foods, where mutated genes and DNA get ingested and used by the body. You are what you eat, after all. To control the mind, one has to grasp a notion of the reptilian brainstem transceiver and adrenal glands being easily interfered with for those of weaker mind defenses. This is done through things like TV programs, smart meters, HARP, indoctrinations of school, politics, religions, sports, etc., with the more invisible means being carrier waves through electronic and electric fields that surround us. The 60 Hz electrogrid is the largest one, where 60 Hz cycle electricity is extremely harmful to us, in that one of its endearing qualities is interrupting our ability to enter REM sleep or delta wave dream states. So, that only leaves the soul or spirit to conquer. Here's the real trick in the cosmic sense, however. We have to do it with full consent, ignorant by willful choice. The only reason that truth will set you free is that once you know something, you know it, and can make the willful choice to control your environment that has long been controlled by others of a less benevolent intent. For me, the connection had to be made from the ether between the worlds, as it were. Inasmuch as oil and water cannot mix, they cannot even touch each other where there is space between them. The simple truth is that if they could touch, they would mix into each other, but basic energy rules keep them apart. Their energies are not compatible. Let's connect the dots. Blood is both ether and physical in that it travels between the worlds of both, but never touches, where there is a merging of energies like an oil and vinegar salad dressing. Plasma can be centrifuged from the blood into separate components, in that water is immutable and contains memory or consciousness. Your consciousness. There we go. In order to conquer us, it must be done as above, so below in this duality realm to keep us from ever finding our true centers. We have to be constantly distracted and knocked off balance to ensure this. We also have to do it willingly by consent. When we go to the toilets of convenience, we willfully share our life essence and the power it contains in this philosopher's stone with those that seek to harvest it. You can do your own research into what urea, urine, is used for, but it won't take long to see how valuable it truly is on a grander scale. Contained within your own urine is pure life force, and everything your body needs to heal it, regenerate it, and make it immortal, literally. So here's a simple overview of the of the as above, so below. To be able to control both aspects, a grid above and below must be established. The electrical grid suffices for the above, and the sewer system, hidden out of view, is below. Would it not make more sense to bury the power cables as well, instead of the incredible repair costs and infrastructure of maintaining an above-ground system? Well, sure it would, but then the effects would be lost, and then it would be a grounding shield from Mother Earth protecting us. If one can see nature's allegories, one can see this one. A tree gets nutrients as above and so below, with two opposite and equal branching systems, with one set gathering food from the light and the other from the dark. This is also our root, or root system, as well, with our veins branching out through our bodies in perfect duality. They are hidden for the most part, yet they get light from within in the Merkaba known as the hearts. This is not an easy concept to share, but once you see it, it makes perfect and balanced sense, both logically and intuitively. This allegory was shown perfectly in the efforts of D. Thomas Murphy, where he created a self-contained system for homes, where nothing is expelled from the house. It creates energy for the home as well, making it completely self-sufficient, identical in allegory to the human body. Our home. To be continued. So there you go. That's what I was working on today, amongst a few other things, but there you go. Just opening up the net here again so I can see what's going on in the room. And guys, feel free to jump in tonight, and jump in every night. All you got to do is hit 1 on the keypad, and on Skype, just open up your dial pad and hit 1 there. And again, a great big thank you to Janet and for MJ. Combined collectively between them, I have a $44.02 Skype credit that I can use to call landlines and stuff, which is really cool. So I don't feel so stranded without my cell phone anymore. Thank you. That was freedom for me. Thank you, guys. And yeah, and I mentioned the other night, Susanna Cat, if you're listening, yes, got your little notebook, gorgeous. Card was stunning, and little incense holders, just beautiful. Thank you so much. And as a result of what you put in the little notebook, there was, I got some cans of beans, some soups, and canned tomatoes. I got fresh tomatoes, fresh lettuce, fresh green peppers, bread, and a few other things. Thank you so much. It went a long way. I'm pretty frugal. I've always been a frugal shopper, though. I can get a big bang for $1. Why? Because I know what it is. Instinctively and intuitively, I always knew what it was, and I always treated it with a certain amount of reverence. Not because I wanted to worship it, but because I knew it would, what it seemed to represent. Couldn't put my finger on it then, but I sure as hell can now. And why I used it so much to help others. So there you go. Just like that. Is it time for a song? No one seems to want to jump in here.
I had a comment, actually, but yes, I also would love to hear a song in a minute.
Yeah, comment first.
Well, yeah, I just made a couple of notes as you were talking, and it's, I don't know how you do it, but you do it, and I just find it fascinating, really. So I just wanted to say, water processing plants, water treatment plants, yeah. Plants, you just said, yeah, what are they growing? Hello, ding dong, Oh, I wonder about that. Because we know, don't we, that it's advisable to use our own urine to water our gardens, to water our vegetable patches, because the plants absolutely love it, and they grow, healthier and, whatever. And, of course, within them, presumably, we have some extra goodies, DNA-wise, from ourselves to promote the food being perfect food for us. So, yeah, when you said plants, what are they growing, kind of makes you wonder.
Well, I got another concept on it. This is why I love the interaction, because here's something else that just came out of it. Do you guys know of it's a little-known company called Monsanto?
Yeah.
Yeah, they modify food genetically, yeah?
Yeah.
So in order to create genetically modified food to affect humans, they would probably need something like maybe, human DNA, maybe?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Jammy buggers.
And, of course, Monsanto, you have my saint, right? So there's my spirit.
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, these are just little things that you can kind of put together. So, and, you know, we know that Monsanto has had so many different name changes. I think they started in 1911, 1912, something like that. You know, modifying, you know, plant life and whatever. And, of course, it's always done under the guise of, well, you know, we're trying to keep the bugs out of it and everything else. Well, you know, nature, that might last for a couple of seasons, but nature always finds a way. You can't fool Mother Nature. Did you not see the Del Monte, you know, fruit cup fruit cup advertisement? It's not nice to fool Mother Nature. Yeah, damn straight. She come down and kick your ass. That's how it works, right? But again, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that was popping in my head when I was writing this. It's like wanting to. I could literally write a book in every sentence, you know. There was something else I wanted to bring in there as well with regards to this. Oh, there's a lot of things, but overall, though, you getting the feel of it and where I'm going?
Oh, yeah. That wasn't the only thing, but yeah, that was the main thing I just mentioned. But the whole thing about cesspools, you mentioned many times in different documents that cess means tax. So, yeah, you know, tax pools, okay. Well, I've thought a pool is a collection, right? A collection method. To pool your resources is to collect, you know. And so, again, tax collection, tax cesspools, yeah, right. Yeah. The water processing plants or water treatment plants, well, we all know that what we've been happily flushing away is our life force, our spiritual truth, our urine. So, of course, yeah, they're collecting the life force and taxing it and processing it and growing God knows what with it. And perhaps, as you just said, Monsanto's happily using it to further their agenda. Yeah, not anymore.
There you go. Again, once we expose something, it's exposed. I'm going to touch on it in later on in the essay, but one of the things that hit me when I was writing out, you know, the 2 ways you can take out vampires by dragging them into the sunlight, burned to a crisp and truth. That's the light of truth, which is what we do. That's what we specialize in. And the other one, we actually do drive stakes through their hearts. And if Miranda was here, I'd get her to jump on the lexigram of steak. But I'll save you the bother, because the first thing when I wrote steak, the first thing I saw was KTS, Spirit of Love, Divine Feminine. It's the only thing that you can wipe out a vampire with is with the Spirit of Love of the Divine Feminine. Isn't that cool? I thought it was.
It's all cool. It's I said to you earlier, there's never a dull moment. There's never any boredom going on around here. At least, you know, it's always something.
Well, it's that constant walking down the path, and here's the thing: when people are stopped and content in their lives, and all they're looking at are, you know, baseball stats and you know, whose birthday is it we have to go to, and what are we buying each other for Valentine's, and all this other crap. Everything that comes into it, all these beautiful illusions, you know, it's no wonder that so many of us missed it. And we have Mim joining us, so we'll take Mim's comment and then we'll jump into a tune.
Yeah, hi, good evening, Kate and Ninja and the family. I just on my way to where I had to travel at this time in the day. I have about a 20-minute drive, and so, you know, I'm listening to you, and I'm just noticing these different license plates as they're, you know, right next to me or right in front of me. And if you want to do the song and then come back, you know, maybe we can jump into that. It's been pretty interesting. There were several words that came up, and I thought it would be fun to just kind of walk through this with you. And I love the way you started the show out tonight, prefacing for everybody that's on the line, you know, what the bottom line is for this call, and that is that this is about love. It is about compassion. It is about being the extension of the ambassador of the kingdom of your Father's house, and that was beautiful. Thank you, Kate.
Oh, my pleasure. And I can't say it enough. You know, a lot of people go, "Oh, you're awful hard on that individual." I wasn't hard on them at all. I love them that much that I want to get rid of their tricky little bastard and get out of the way, and I'll poke, boom it, and I'll keep going until they'll either get it or they'll blow off the lines. You know, and that's how I work. I haven't got time to waste, nor do the rest of us. And it's not about everybody awakening. It's about one awakening. That's all I'm interested in. I'm focused on if but one shall awaken. If I'm not it, I want one of you guys to be it, and I want to be part of it. We're all part of this table, right? This is where we get together.
I think there's very exciting happening here, and I'm enjoying being in the flow with you.
Oh, I'm loving having everybody around. And I've said it before, and I will say it again. I guarantee you listen to any other show anywhere else on this planet, you will not get what we're talking about here anywhere. This is why you guys are, when I say tuned in, please take the ultimate compliment I can hand. You are tuned in. There is something about you that reaches above the din of the noise of this place. There's something in it. I don't want to make it sound like, you know, here you are on a pedestal and you're special. No, what you've got is a level of intent and drive to get above the noise, to get above the illusions, the distractions, and what have you. Take the feather in your cap. Well done. So very well done. And on that, I'm going to play you guys a little song, because I've been itching to play it all day. I've had a couple of people ask, "Are you going to play this tonight?" Yeah, well, I'm going to do it right now. So we'll be right back after this, and we'll get your take on the license plates, and we'll talk plates. I love talking plates. Seems like I got this button to work. I love live radio. Come on, one more time. Third time the charm, they say. Oh, okay, I see. Just wants to move it around.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, how tough was that? It took me
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Okay, so a little delayed reaction going on here. Don't do it again, though. There we go. Here's the song. We'll play it once, though, just once. Oh, where did it go to? It must be right at... Yeah, it is. It's right at the bottom. There it is.
Somewhere like a dream, your world washed over me and took me far away, so very far away. Made sense of all things wrong, gave hope where all was gone. What do I need to say, really need to say? Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me. Somehow you pulled me through, turned faith back into truth completely, so completely. Held strong when others ran, gave my heart a place to stand, and you saved me, more than saved me. Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. And when I hold you in my There you were still standing like an angel, holding on to me. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were still standing like an angel, holding on to me.
Oh my God, Brian, that's beautiful. Wow, that's a really cool thing, you know. You're hearing a song in a certain form for so very long. That's the thing, and that song was tracked for beds, Studio Talk to build everything around it, and that's why I always did stuff to click tracks. And like I said, there's two acoustics there, one open, just regular open tune, and going over it the second time, capoed on the third fret. Same chords, just played differently for better tonal qualities, and I did a little bit of messing around with that. Not a lot, not as much as I'd like to. It was one of the later tricks, if you will, that I like to do, and just get different textures out of a song acoustically. If I never got around to doing anything else with it, at least I had something like that to build on at any given time. So thank you, Brian, for you put such a pretty dress on her. Thank you so much. It's gorgeous. Wow. There you go. And okay, and we have Joe in the call now as well. And we're going to swing over to Mim, and we're going to talk in the now moment, how to spot the now using license plates. I do it all the time. It's fun as hell.
This was really a lot of fun coming over here. In fact, I was just giggling to myself. But you know that song, "Like an Angel," that you just played, and then hearing you talk about how it was, you felt like it was going to be like. The foundation for all the other things to be built around. I feel like it is that of you to what I know of you, kind of like the master numbers that are in people's lives. It's like, that is basically, that song has the code of who you are. And the first license plate that I saw on my way over here that caught my attention was a word, just a word, no numbers or anything, and it was KODAM. And so I'll see what you get from that, and I'll tell you what I got from it, and then we'll go to the next one.
Codem? Yeah, they kind of did that to us, didn't they? Let's just confuse them. We'll code them. That was my first intuitive on it.
Okay, well, that was very close to what I came up with, but I put the dash between code and am.
Got it. DNA code, am.
I am the code, or
exactly.
the code in me. Again, just going back to everything that we're talking about, that the information is coded inside of us. Well, then I saw two numbers that caught my attention. These were either right in front of me or right next to me. So the number was 411, and 4. That's always meant the door to me from my Messianic Hebrew, background. 11 has always been a major number for me. So that fit. It felt like, that was just reminding me that the door is to remember, to notice, and to be awake. The next number was 999. That spoke to me of completion. I don't know what you know of, like tarot or different things that you're involved with, but is that what you know it as?
Yeah, I'll give you something else with 11 as well, because there's a lot more to it once you can see a few of the breakdowns of it. Because what you have there is L, Eve, N, okay? L, power, spirit, Eve, divine feminine, N, mind, right? When I see the number 11, and it comes up a lot for me, N15, 5, 6, 11, 15, those are up all the time, like constantly. It doesn't matter where I look. I look at you're traveling down the road and been down there 100 times, and I'll look up different building, and it'll total up to 5, 6, 11, or 15. And the thing about 11, there's your twin towers, right? Remember we talked about the allegory of why they had to take down the twin towers. What the allegory is, they were trying to destroy the human spirit, and this human spirit is represented in the zodiac by Gemini. The Gemini twins, the two eyes standing side, the pillars of Hercules, the temples of Solomon.
Okay.
We are all that, and Gemini is the only sign on the zodiac that is spirit. It's the only one. That's why Mercury typically rules it, and Mercury or Hermes is the messenger of the gods, the winged heels, right? I can go on that one, but I'm just adding more weight to what you're already saying.
Okay, well, there's about 4 or 5 more. The next one was partners, Pardnrs. I thought that was interesting because on your show you're talking about people being linked with you, and who are the ones who understand and helping those that don't. The next license plate, it started out 2, and then the letter N like Nancy, G like George, both small lowercase letters, and then something else on the other side for the numbers. But I thought that was interesting because it was like somebody saying twoing or doubling or
doubling. Yeah, that's what I got.
What came to my mind was the photon and being in 2 places at once.
Yes. The as above, so below.
The next one was 500. The only thing that came to my mind with that immediately popped in was Fortune 500. So, whether that's just kind of like an indication of supply. That's all that was to me. 5 is grace. 500, I don't remember what it was exactly, but it just made me think of that. The next one was I-GTO, like somebody that owns a GTO car.
Yep.
So what came to me on that was funny because it made me think of a hot rod on the road, which to me the vehicle represents, again, the spirit or what you're carried in or how you carry yourself. And so to me it was just, saying that when I'm in this way of looking at things, I feel like a hot rod on the road of life. There's 2 more. The next one was S like Sam, T like Tom, A like Apple, D like David, S like Sam, Stads, which I have no idea what that would be, and then -3. Maybe you can help me with that one, and then there's one more, and it's funny, you'll really like it for the last one.
Okay, yeah, nothing's come to mind on Stads. There's again. See, these are things that will resonate with you more so. Right. That's your path. I mean, I can give you my first intuitive on it. I've got nothing on Stads. Nothing.
I didn't either. So that one's really open. I have to ask, universe, creator, give me more insight into that one. Well, the last one you will really like, and it was 888-G like George I-U. And what came to me was G-E-E-G, I-U, Y-O-U, G-I-U, I'm you and you are me.
Well, you know what the number 888 represents in Greek?
Go ahead.
That's the numerical value of the word Jesus. Je suis, I am. That's the only letter missing out of Jesus in French is the I, right? The only thing missing in Jesus is you. The je suis, to be the I am. See how it all interconnects? Everything works.
Beautiful.
Everything works. It all correlates. It is absolutely perfect and masterful in its efficacy and delivery. And once you start to see it, a whole lot of stress leaves you. You just kind of, okay, I'm just going to... And you got to, it's like I'm looking at my tarot and saying, okay, card 17, there's only 4 left. Cool, I'm in. So in. And I've been watching this for a while. Everything follows a grand plan. Everything follows a grand scheme. And here's the trouble with being all-knowing, even when you're in a condition of unknowing. The plan is there. We can talk about free will choice all day long. The only free will choice we have is do we stay in the particular game we're in, or do we move to the next level? That's it. The game is set. The universe is perfect. I mean, we're talking of the all consciousness of all that we're all part of, creating everything. Now, please tell me, do you honestly think it could make a mistake? No. All things for a reason. And in order to play a game, especially one that's going to take infinity, we only have forever, guys. So I don't know what the hell everybody's hurry is. At the end of the day, what's your hurry? We only have forever here, but we get so limited in our thinking by the programs that we run through, schools, churches, whatever the case may be. And then we're trapped in these, 5 cents biological meat stick engines that run themselves. It's not like you had to, concentrate on what antivirus T cells you were building and developing against something that came into your body. Let's say your body took care of that for you. That's why. When was the last time you became aware that your toenails are growing, or that you're replacing billions of skin cells every single day, or that your hair is growing, or to make sure to keep your eyes moist, to make sure that, like I said, the heart beating. And to make sure that you're cleaning your blood through the kidneys. And could you imagine the amount of effort required by any single point of consciousness, i.e. you, to have to do all of that, especially in the level of knowing we're at, to do all that and play the game. So it's the engine's built. It's a perfect design. It will take care of itself, and the only thing that can interfere with that is if there's something outside of it that one has you deliberately dumbed down ignorant, and can attack the body when people are in a low level state of mind over matter, which is what the vast majority of people are. It's mind-boggling, and when you start coming into see, when it starts to come into view for you, this whole notion of all manner of things, they start, instead of seeming to be impossible, like flying or whatever, these things start to come into view as being, well, why not? I'll tell you why not, because we've been so hammered down and beat down for so long. It's any wonder any of us woke up at all. Good game, boys and girls. So that's it. With me, it's not about focusing on the game so much anymore. It's about focusing on the why am I playing? What is it that I am trying to discover? And really, all it is for me is about collecting as many karma coins as I can, the good deeds, being ever vigilant in that, and doing the right things because it's the right thing to do, and standing in truth to the level of knowingness that you have, that you will not yield from it. Because I'll tell you, the only time anyone can be affected is if they know the truth and they stand outside it. That's what happens. It's like when I tell people, when it comes into their awareness and they get the concept that any use of the name is fraud, and they don't do anything about it. I'm talking intention-wise, and become aware of it and say, ooh, and there are ways to get around it. Absolutely there are. But here's the other part of the doubt that comes in. Because people have been, so well trained to doubt, they're in a constant low vibration. That's fear. Doubt is fear. And you're on the radar. When you're in fear, you're on the radar. That's the truth of it. When you know who you are, it's like people talking to me, and it's amazing how much fear is just rampant through people. It's like, tell one of my friends, well, you haven't got a license, and you're driving? Yeah. Well, I hope you sure don't get. I said, would you stop manifesting things, please? What concern is it of yours? Nothing to do with you. You can't handle the truth. I can't. Why would you want to mock something like that up? But they go into all these fear programs of, all the crap that goes along with it. It's like again, it's. Why do you think I stand here bowing and in awe of all of you listening? Because I know you're tuned in. And how many of us are there? Thousands. We've got the abilities, and we're gathering in numbers. This is the gathering of angels, boys and girls. And you're both, by the way. Get over yourself. I did. It's pretty cool. But there you go. Joe, have you got any comments, hon? What's it like down under?
Good morning. It's wet and cold down here. Raining.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, you're in winter right now, right? So.
Yeah. I'm sitting here on the bed listening to you with I've had this new puppy dog for 2 days.
Oh, lucky you.
I am so blessed, but at the same time, she's come in because I lost my puppy dog last week, and I chose to bring her back or heal that through getting another one. So I've got this 7-week-old puppy sound asleep next to me, snuggled up. So it's very nice.
Awesome. I know that feeling. I remember when I lost Quincy. That was my first dog. 7 pounds of raging thunder, anger, long-haired Chihuahua. I love it. Smart dog. Oh my! You wouldn't believe what I had him trained to do. He would do everything. All the typical commands. I could just use my hands. I didn't have to speak to him because I trained him. Roll over. All I had to do was do a little twirl in the air with my finger, and in whatever direction he would do. Right or left. If I did a clockwise, he'd go with it, and if I did counterclockwise, he'd go with that. To speak, all I had to do was touch my chin, and to sit, all I had to do was hold my hand out, and then I just like a maestro, when you're raising your hand for a higher note, that would actually get him to up. He would go up on his back feet, and then I just do a little twirl with my hand, and he'd twirl around. Just friggin' smart as a whip. Oh, I miss him. But anyway, ended up took him into the vet to get there was a little lump on his nose. It turns out it was a sinus thing. Nothing to be worried about, but they ended up over sedating him and killed him. And but he was in my arms when he left, and my oldest Emily was holding his paw, and he's buried in the backyard of my house that I will get back to. Hell or high water, universe will lead the way home. And and then that was on Friday, and on Saturday, of course, I'm all bummed out and whatever. And I actually built a treasure. I went down to the shop and built him a full-blown treasure chest to bury him in. So he was well taken care of. But on the Saturday, after we buried him, I went down to the pet store where we used to. That's actually where I got him, or not where I got him, where I got Sasha, where we used to get all his food, and I used to take him down all the time. They loved him down there. Never had to have him on a leash. Never. He just stayed right with me, and it was never an issue. But talk about an attitude problem. And you'd be lying on the couch or whatever, and he'd get up and snuggle with you. And if you moved to pet him or anything, he'd just, and then he'd just run off in a huff, right? I'm here, leave me alone. I'm in my zone. I'd come home, and he'd be like, oh my God, Daddy's home, right? And all the rest of it. And he'd be all full of love for about 30 seconds, and then he'd had enough. He'd put me down. Right? Just a great animal. I loved him so much. But anyway, went down on the Saturday, and as fate would have it, there was 3 long-haired Chihuahua puppies. They had just come in, and all 3 were girls. And Sasha was the smallest one, and ended up picking her out, and I brought her home. Wasn't supposed to get her until I think the following weekend. I ended up getting her on the Tuesday or Wednesday and brought her home. But so I know what you're talking about. And it's not to replace one or the other. It's just having that beautiful energy around you, and knowing that the one that just left is not slighted by that. It's just regenerating that beautiful space for more love to come in. So it's not. It's for me. It's make more for, not a make less of.
Yeah, it's conditional. So has to be. Hey.
Exactly. What kind of puppies do you get?
It's a Cavalier poodle cross.
Oh, nice.
So she's this little fluffy thing. She's very cute. Sound asleep, bugged up in her own little jacket. You're gonna love this. I want to explain the name of the dog to you, and what I went through synchronistically, as I do put out there for her name to come to me. And the name of my pup that just left was Lola. So Lola, I loved. We only had her for about 4 months before a tick got her, and the fact that the song Lola.
Yeah, first thing I thought of when you said it.
Yeah, it's it. So and having you come in my life at the same time, as well as a niece of mine who's going through the same experience with her changing of her masculine feminine role, and I thought I love how they come. How things just line up. And then the morning, we found out last Saturday morning, my sister actually nursed her through a tick paralysis. So when she rang me on Saturday morning, I was away, and I rang my husband and said Lola's just passed, and he said, I'll come and meet you at this market. And he said on the way there, he drove past Lola's cafe, which we never knew was there.
Oh, wow.
So it's those little things that, you just knew. She was such a beautiful dog, Lola. We were only just saying, so we were so grateful for having her in our life because she just fitted in with us so beautifully. But, so with death, it's interesting. I had a beautiful dog leave last year, die, and my dad at the same time. So I got to really be present to it and experience death as the emotion it was in the moment. I sit Vipassana style of meditation, so I've really learnt to sit and just be present to the sensations that are happening in my body. I got to experience the grief of what was in my being in that moment, and the difference between the mind coming in and wanting to make a story around it and create more, and having the experience just this week. I got to just explore it for what it is, and the mind's need to want to look for a reason. And there's infinite reasons that I think the mind can find, but just to be present in the moment, it just is accepting that everything changes, and that's just that for me allowed me to be present to the grief of my being in my body at that moment, and if anything, it awakens me to everything in that moment.
I hear you loud and clear. It's again, when we're dealing with that infinite consciousness that we have, that all-knowing, we can only experience the things that we experience here, and my overall and overwhelming feeling of this place is, wow, what a game. When you fully know that you are infinite, that you are truly immortal, that there is no such thing as death. The illusion in the shadow called physical reality had to be created in order to experience that. So what we're dealing with is the infinite nature of ourselves, of what we are, in direct proportion, direct relation to the finite existence of what the physical reality is, be it, at the end of our own, Samsonite tour, right? Or, someone close to us passing over. There is no loss there. You see, I got to experience that with my dad when he left. And I had a chance to, say the things I needed to say to him before he did, because I knew he wasn't going to be around to hear it for much longer. And to be there when he actually left, and all the family was there, hands on, and he, like I tell people, he didn't pass over. We carried him, and felt that essence leave. And I also, and Sue noticed this as well, we lingered around afterwards for a little bit, and the room was illuminated, and I knew the energy was there. And it's like, and the day of his funeral, I went in full kilt, and I had a friend of mine in the band I played at the time, Inverness, our piper, Chad. He came in and piped my dad out, and I knew that would have. And my dad was there. I wasn't paying attention to the cocoon. I was looking for the butterfly, and the butterfly was there, and I had a chance. And it's like, I have all these people coming into the receiving line, and of course they're upset and everything else, and I'm there going, no, we need to celebrate my dad's life. We don't need to, I've been at the mournful funerals and not fully really aware of what's going on in terms of life in general. But I'll tell you, it goes back to when my mom left and my former mother-in-law. It's a different, there's such a peace about it once you really get the idea that there is nothing finite. That part of our consciousness will always be. You will always be. You're not getting out of this. Okay, this is, even when you go to sleep, you are constantly out there doing. I mean, the other night, I had to sleep 8-9 hours, which is great for me. I got up the next morning, and I was exhausted. I don't know what the hell I was doing in my dream. And come to think of it, there was, I should have wrote it down this morning. I saw in my dream there was a name. It was like a Skype name. And it's not in my Skype thing, but I guarantee you, this name comes up, I'm gonna shit myself. But I think it began with B. Anyway, it was a name I didn't know. And I'll think on it, and I will remember it at some point tonight. Now that it's, you know what it's like after dreams, right? You get up and you go, I'll write that down, remember that, and then 10 minutes later, the whole dream's gone, right? It's such a fleeting thing. So that's Chloe, by the way. She's the little puppy next door. She's gorgeous.
Yes, when Lola died, you talked about dogs and being absolute loyal, that unconditional loyalty. I think you were talking the unconditional love and loyalty, and I thought there's the synchronicity in that moment, and the same with the puppy there, that you spoke about earlier, who's, you were saying, isn't she cute? She's such a cutie or something like that. And I was sitting here with my son saying the same thing to him, and I'm saying, I'm listening to Kate, and this is exactly what Kate just said, that you just said. He goes, really? Did she? And I go, yeah. Nice.
It's just a coincidence. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Nothing to see. Move on. And then coming to her name as well, we weren't sure what we'd call her, and I just always sleep on things, and I woke up with Evie in my mind. I thought, oh, she looks like an Evie. And then I thought of the song by Stevie Wright, Evie,
yeah.
Let your hang down. So we got up and had a listen to the song yesterday. And there's a live version on YouTube where he played at the Sydney Opera House in 1979, and I was there.
Nice.
And I was 16. And the drummer had Burley written across his T-shirt, which is where I bought her, at Burley. So I look at it and go, okay, yeah, you're meant to be Evie, and it felt right. It felt so good once I sat with it.
Well, you heard tonight when Mim had mentioned the 411, and then the word 11. There's L, Eve, N, L, Power Spirit,
yeah,
Eve.
Think.
Right? It's divine feminine. Mine.
I missed that because I dropped out for a bit there, so it's perfect. And I'm one of those, oh my God, look, it's 8:11. There it is again. I know when it's 11 minutes past the hour because I have to look at some clock or something somewhere because my mind just draws me there to reinforce that notion. And at times it makes me be present in the moment to what I'm doing because I'm meant to be for that reason.
Oh, exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to convey this whole idea of getting people to start thinking in the present. Get them ahead of the clock, right? Chronos is the trap. As I was explaining this last night, anything that you're looking at, anything in this physical reality is past. It's I'll give you a couple of examples. One, it's already built, so of course it's created, and it has to be in the past because the light traveling from it takes time to get to your eyes. So you will never see anything here as it is, only as it was. We're talking, well, if you're talking infinity in no time, that split second illusion in time can be an infinity all by itself. But like you look across the street at a house or a building or whatever, it takes maybe a millionth of a second to get to you, but it still took that time to get to you for you to observe it. So everything you look at, everything, even if you put your finger right up to your eye and look right at it, it still takes time for that light from your finger to get to your eye, and then of course be processed in the now. So there's the time trap. So what I'm trying to do right now is to get us thinking, because we are faster than the speed of light, because we are light creators. Of course we can think faster than the speed of light. We generate it, right? We are source. We are the source of light. So when you get into the present, and it takes a bit of practice, but I'm telling you, Mim was talking about a few examples where she's observing things in the now of things that were pre-sent to her so that she could be aware of the now. It's like me thinking about, am I right on, have I got it correct with regards to, the no name, no game thing, and then I go, universe, show me the way, and then, of course, this truck drives by with no name as a brand on the side of it. That truck had to be in existence before I thought of that. Do you see where I'm going here?
Definitely.
Okay, you can't see it in the now unless it was already created in the pre-sent. So I'm getting people to back up into the pre-sent to start. That's how you create. This is how we create. We're on our way back, guys. This is so close right now. I can taste it. And these are the click moments, and we get people. Trust yourself, for crying out loud. Gravity Falls. It says trust no one. And people can go, well, I trust my friends and stuff. It's not saying that. But it says trust no one. The only one you can trust completely is you, and our trust within ourselves. And they talk about trust in the legal system all the time. Why the focus on it? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because we have been taught to trust outside of ourselves. Trust in the illusion. Trust in the law. Trust in the trusts. Trust in the contracts. Bullshit. The only one you can trust is you, so trust no one else. And I'm not being negative when I say that. Yeah, there's people you can hang out with, and we can say trust on a very light level there, okay? There's people we hang out with, and I'm sure, and go through your life. How many people do you fully trust only to have them stab you in the back? I lost count a long time ago. Doesn't stop me from putting out the trust, though, to be trustworthy. Because one of the things that I have found to be an absolute truth, or as absolute as I can find it to be, those that cannot trust anyone else are not trustworthy. Because they're not used to trusting themselves. Because when you learn to trust others, that is a measure of how much you've learned to trust yourself. And my game, for me, is very simple. Peeling off the garbage that said, don't trust me. There's your unconditional. There's your unconditional love. Finally, we're getting into the love conquers all motion of the game versus the stop in the game, look at the distractions and ooh-ah of the emotions. Right? And again, emotions are both good and evil. Good in that we can experience them, tell me what's evil about being happy, right? It's an emotion, right? And tell me what's good about, being absolutely miserable. Well, I can give you a lot of good ones there because I'm a songwriter. Poets are supposed to be miserable. We write better songs that way, But you know what I'm saying. It's about changing your perspective and not getting stuck in the duality. Don't look at something as good or evil, good or bad. They're both good and bad. I've had the proverbial living shit beat out of me in this lifetime, and I could not be more grateful because what it gave me is exactly what I can share with you guys right now. I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty good. Works for me. I'm dancing now, and I'm just getting started. Because here's the thing about coming into the now, it exponentiates. It doesn't just go pick up speed a little bit. It starts to double upon itself. And that's what I'm experiencing, and I know with the gatherings that we bring to this beautiful table that we sit at, it's going exponential in every perspective with you. So let's say there's 10, 15,000 tuned in right now. Typically that's what we have. Look at how many perspectives are out there. Look how many tuned in perspectives we have. Look at the resonation of that many clocks ticking and talking together. Now please, go ahead, tell me. I dare you, tell me we're not having an effect on this planet. I know we are because I'm seeing it change in front of my eyes. This table that we're sitting at right now is the most powerful table I have ever sat at. That's why we do this together. We just get on the same page. We resonate, and we get that beautiful feedback resonation going on. The feedback loop goes exponential. I talked about that in a bunch of shows back. When a frequency starts to loop on itself, it gets louder and louder and louder, and that's what's happening with us. We're feedbacking on each other because we're getting the concepts. And I'm doing my best to download whatever comes in, and I just get in the moment, and then I get to throw it out there with you guys, and you throw things back for me, and it's like, everything that gets said to me matters. I know this, so I'm listening intently. What is it I need to hear? What is it I need to see? Show me the way. Great Stick song, if you get a chance. That's the one I turned up when I asked the question. Show me the way. So there you go.
Great thoughts, Kate. And I have thought of that myself too. That everything that we're seeing, it's actually something that's already happened. So. Actually, when we do the work that we do, to my way of thinking, especially with the Ho'oponopono, it's a way of going into the future and affecting something in the past to give you a new future.
Bingo. Welcome to Creatorville. Happy times. Happy times.
Yep, I agree. And I just wanted to say also that have you thought about, or do you know about this program that you can get for your computer where you can speak into it and it will type out what you're saying? I was thinking it would be cool if somebody could gift you with I know there's one called Dragon. I don't know what the others are called.
There's one actually in this computer, but I have never figured it out. It's actually part of the Windows program or something. It loads up every day, and I never use it because I would love to be able to use a dictaphone where I could just and
Well, I'm going to get an agreement with you for Universe to bring you a partner that could come and spend a little time and just maybe help you with that.
That would be great. I would be happy just with a partner.
If you're in agreement with me.
I am in agreement with creation of all kinds, hon. Yeah. I know you are. That. I can certainly share that agreement and resonate it back to you. Let's go exponential, huh?
Go.
Indeed. In the feedback, you guys need to know how absolutely beautifully, critically, wonderfully important you are. Because the feedback that I get, and it can be a simple little Facebook post or something, or Skype or whatever, doesn't. For me to try to explain how I see things and what I'm actually looking for with eyes wide open, it's beyond miraculous. It's like even when Joe was talking about Lola, I mean, the first thing came to mind, oh yeah, LOL, Lola, there's the song, and of course it's all about, people like me. So I got the resonance immediately, and it was just, okay, keep going. I want to hear what you have to say. And then, of course, the new puppy being called Evie, and we talked, you and I, remember when we were talking when Joe couldn't hear us, you'd mentioned 11, and L, Eve, N. L, power of spirit, Eve, divine feminine spirit, N, mean it's mine, right? So, and there's Eve right beside Joe right now. And she's got her little fluff ball of divine feminine essence. Isn't that cool?
And then her son is making comments, and you're repeating them right after, so there's the double witness.
again, and what you said really summed it up. What we are... Oh, we got 90 seconds. I better do the shout out before we go to the rollover. Guys, if you want to get in, you better call in quick. Area code 661. Oh, got to get this. I've said it 100 times. 661-467-2401, or Skype in. Just refresh the page, hit your Skype button. You've got just over a minute to do so, and we're going to roll into the recording. And I know there's going to be some real juicy bits in this. You'll want to download. Trust me. Just the way you had said it. I'm going to have to listen back to it because you said it perfectly. About things that
forgiveness is going into the future to change something in the past to give you a new future.
Got it. Right. So
it's put you on a new timeline, a positive timeline.
Exactly. So it's about there's steering the mind, steering the ship. No wonder they wanted to take over our ships: ownership, membership, citizenship, bullship. Oh, that's not one, but you know what I mean. It goes on from there, right? So, yeah, can you feel the magic of these things that have been going on for the last, especially the last 3-4 weeks? There's something
big time
really shifting. I feel it. I mean, even right now, compared to a month ago in terms of thinking, I am exponentially different. I know that. And that's what happens when you learn to trust yourself. And that's, for me, been the hardest thing of all, right? I've been living in the shadow of myself for most of my life. So for me to come out into my own light, to get, and I'm still in that shadow a little bit. There's still trepidation with it. I'll get over it. I spent a lifetime terrified of stages, so this is nothing new. It's getting better and better, and I'll tell you, I'm really looking forward to getting back on stage because that's what I see. I've already got bass players lined up. I got a lead guitarist ready to go, and always a challenge finding a drummer. It's really funny. I thought about this yesterday too regarding drummers. Don't mind me off topic here, but this one's I thought this was kind of funny. We had this going back early days of Athenry, the rock band I put together, and we had the first drummer was awesome. He after a while started losing the touch, but he was awesome. He was on all of the first album, and shortly, I guess probably about 6 months after that, things kind of went south, and we started auditioning new drummers, and I think we probably went through 40 or 50 guys, and all manner of levels of skill and ability. And it was not a matter of asking them or seeing if they could play the drums. It was always in the back of my mind. There was only one thing going on. I don't care if you're an amazing drummer. And we had some guys in there that was flash and perfect and blah, 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 but they couldn't. The one thing they couldn't do, they could play the drums like nobody's business. But what they couldn't do was play the song. That's what I was looking for. I didn't need a flash drummer. I needed someone that actually just played the song, interpret the song. That's why when I listen back to what Brian did with Like an Angel, it's like even though it's digital and what have you, he found the feel. That's what it's got. It's got to feel right. So you can play an instrument or play the song. I know lots of great lead guitarists that can play a mean lead guitar, but couldn't play any of my songs to save their lives. I played with a few of them. They're just all too busy about look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Oh, by the way, what? Oh, yeah, that's just the background noise for me to make all this noise, right? So again, it's about that co-creation, and that's with me, music. And what we're doing right now is we're writing this song. We're co-creating this song together. We've got this beautiful orchestra, if you will. We got some people that are the violinists, the cellists, and the timpani players, and the flautists. We got the piccolo, the oboe, clarinets, all of it. We got the whole array. My favorite instrument, by the way, woodwind, is oboe. I love the oboe. French horns and what have you. And everyone's got their instrument to play. And while it on its own it sounds okay, when you put it together and synchronize it with the rest of us, and everyone's in the same tune, in the same song, the music, that's the shit. When we get into unison, we don't need a maestro. We are our own maestros. That's the thing. I do understand having a maestro at the front directing the orchestra or whatever. But truly, you throw the music down and move the maestro off the podium, the pedestal as being something great or whatever, and you just let the orchestra play. They'll play fine. Because it might take a couple of passes through a piece to get it perfect. But they'll know. That's the thing about music and feeling it and being a part of it. That's one of the biggest problems I've seen with people that are classically trained. They're great readers, but they're shitty players. You take the music away from them, they couldn't play a note to save their lives. No, they can play a note, but stringing it together. And then there are those that are the players. I've always defined it. I'm just a player. I can't read the music. I can read chords and stuff like that, but notation, forget it. Never bothered. I just play by ear and go, right? Just do my thing. And what you have, effectively, and I learned this, was a girl in high school, a very good friend of mine, another musician, Shauna, incredible pianist. Had won all sorts of awards, Kiwanis, you name it, and just a rare talent. And I loved to sit and listen to her when she was playing, because it was kind of fun. Because in the high school I was at, we'd always go and hang out in the gym, it wasn't a gym. It was, but it had a stage and whatever, and we could always bring our instruments and just kind of hang out and jam out. And there was always a piano in there, so John would get on the piano and just play. Only one problem though. Take the music away from her. She couldn't put it together. She had learned to read, and for me that's just being a pianola. What really separated her though was when she played, you could feel it. And I told her, I says, well, you know what you need to do? Just lose the music for a bit and just make the piano your friend instead of a machine, because you got the feel. And where she went from there, I have no idea. Parted ways after high school, and I think I bumped into her once. She was working in a nightclub or whatever, and just said hi, and didn't really get into talk about music or anything. But I was, what I did ask her, just came back with, she effectively had stopped playing in terms of competitions and whatever, and she'd been away from the piano for a bit. So I think I secretly hope that she went back and just made the piano her friend. But yeah, so there's a difference between a reader and a player, and what we have at this table are a group of players. We're playing this by ear. We're winging it. We're on a wing and a prayer here, boys and girls, and what a song. I mean, this is as original a song as we can write. And I'm telling you, everyone, your songwriting abilities are beyond astonishing. And the more you learn to trust yourself, the most potent, most beautiful creation in this universe. I know that because you're me, and I'm you. Wow. Can you just imagine?
Wow. I want to add to that, Kate, with my 17-year-old daughter, Rianne, cannot read. Never learnt. We tried a lot at the beginning, realised there was not a problem, instead saw it as a gift. And she uses Dragon Speak, thinking of your birth year as well. I thought maybe I'll get her to connect with you. And she actually uses a different program now that she has on her phone. So she is one of the most creative, self-authorised kids you'd ever want to meet. She paints and draws and does film work, and everything she uses on the computer, any icon or anything she touches, it speaks back to her. So she's found all programs to fit her life so that she can still interact with the world. She can take a piece of clay, and as I say, she pulls the clay away to leave the perfectly formed horse in the middle with its spine and hair and everything. So she has this holographic way of seeing the world. So to read and to learn the sigils, she never did because it's two-dimensional and it's flat. She doesn't see that way.
She's indigo, and my first reaction to that is how beautiful that is to not ever have to walk through this life and be spellbound.
Yes.
What a gift.
Yep, and she knows it too from the journey that I went on with, doing the whole Black's Law Dictionary. These are what words mean. They don't mean that to her because they don't have. She hasn't had to have that exactly what you're saying, the spell cast over her. And she's one of the most amazing manifestors, creators. She said to me only a couple of days ago, I need to get some business cards because people want me to start doing some sizzle reels for them. And they're saying, where's your card? And what do we want to call it? And so we're looking at her creation, creative intent. Is the name that she's playing with and sitting with and getting a feel for. So, because that's exactly who she is. People come to her with some ideas they want, and she asks them their intent, and she puts some sort of creative expression around it, and they're wrapped, and she gets to live and enjoy every moment of what she loves doing. So
that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful, and I'm doing the shout out to all those people that. Whether they're dyslexic, as I call it, dyslexic, have issues with spelling, have issues reading and writing, count your blessings. You see, some of us had to be spellbound to the degree. A lot of people come to me and says, Kate, how do you do that with words? And that, well, I'll tell you where it came from. There's only one place it came from, and I know where it came from. You see, it's called the whispers of the wind. I call it song catching. And what it enabled me to do from a very young age, I started playing guitar when I was 16, wrote my first song 3 months later after I picked a guitar up. And I'd already always had, writing poetry, and I've always done that. But what song writing did for me was it allowed me to put that poetry into motion. And the gift that I know this, I don't think this or feel it or believe, I know this. The gift that was given to me was an innate ability to not only read between the lines, but learn to write between them. I was given the layer between worlds, if you will, in the writing. Same, as above, so below with the physical, right? So my ethereal between the worlds is the words and the language and what have you. I know I certainly have a unique perspective on it, and definitely, a lot of stuff has resonated. The biggest mind-blowing aspect of language and words especially came last summer. It came in a 4-day blinding flash of downloads where I can't even begin to describe what that felt like. It was just non-stop. And a lot of the essays I've written came out of that time frame. And I look at them now, and yeah, they I know what they meant then, but they mean something entirely different now. And a lot of them need updated, but they're great for, as I call it, entry level, just to get basic understandings of things. I mean, we're talking a year ago now, but that's why I'm starting to get back into the essay writing again, because the things that I try to convey on the air, when I sit down to write, I can take the time and allow the ideas to, not only develop. I'm not compressed by a 2-hour or 3-hour window. It's a lot more open. So the thing about writing essays too is I don't have this quote obligation to perform unquote, right? So it's a much freer thing. Not to say that the episodes that we sit around the table aren't. These are the highlight of my day every day, where I know I get a chance to sit down with thousands of us sitting together, all beating the drum in time, and scaring the living shit out of whatever is trying to control this place. We have this game, guys. There's no question. It's done. We've got it. We got it this time. We finally got it. Oh, bloody time. Yeah, who wants to go for another 26,000 a year trip on this? No, thanks. I'm good. I'm getting off on this one. New timeline coming up. But yeah, count your blessings, guys. Those of you out there that never got trapped into the words, some of us had to. That was my piece of the puzzle to do. So no harm, no foul. It's a blessing and a curse, right? Now, where you guys out there that say can't read or write or have issues spelling and being able to see words and read properly and write properly, you've seen that in terms of normal quotes. And I say normal very loosely. When I say normal regarding this place, I'm saying psychopathic. But let's just say normal just for sake of what it is. The normal way that we would normally be made to feel here is if you can't read or write, you're an ignoramus, you're an imbecile, you're stupid, you're less than somebody else, when quite the opposite is true. You were given a gift to not be blinded by the spells, to not have the spells have the effect on you as they did on so many of us. And I'll tell you, it was a long climb out. I mean, that's my background, history, literature. Those are the float my boats, baby. And as it turns out, all the language was messed up, and the history's all bullshit too. So, and I'm very happy because now I can see the contrast. That, you know, it's like people that go through their entire. Look at people clinging on to the sovereign movement, clinging on to courts, clinging on to this statute and you know this procedure and all the rest of it. They're still clinging on to that illusion so tight. Why? Because it's all they know. That's their, quote, claim to fame, unquote. And they'll never see the truth until they let it go, until they let that contrast be seen. Because when you're punching at one thing, you were caught in a duality. You think it's singular in your intent, but it's not. You're divided and conquered. You got to look at everything. You know, I've used the analogy of trying to look at the Mona Lisa through a 1 millimeter wide slit from 10 feet back. You know, unless you're really good at, you know, with a perfect photographic memory and could line that up, you'd never know what it is. So what it's about here is trying to open, every time you get a new perspective from someone, this is why we sit around this table, and I love adopting other people's perspectives to, you know, literally get in their shoes, get in their skin, and you know, see what are they seeing from that perspective, and how can I see from their perspective. And when I do that, what I'm doing is millimeter by millimeter, I'm opening that gap so I can see the bigger picture. And it doesn't take very long. You know, you don't have to see all of the Mona Lisa to get the idea of what it is. And as soon as you understand what the picture is, the rest of the veil just falls away anyway because you've seen it. And something else I really, really want to get you guys, this is your absolute trust in yourself. Know this, you are creation itself. You are the power of creation. You've just been told and convinced otherwise. 'Tis a problem with the tricky little bastard, and of course the subconscious, which is creation itself, chaos, where there is no emotions. It's all motion. It's pure, whatever you think goes into it and creates out of it. Okay, so when you have all of these negative things that you're looking at, if you're staring at fear porn, that's what you're creating. You wonder why the world is in such a mess. Well, stop looking at it that way. You know, if I were to see chemtrails, I'd just laugh going, look at how scared you guys are, and this is what you have to do in order to try to scare me. Are you kidding me? That's the best you can do? And I look up in a perfectly clear blue sky, just as the sun's setting right now. That's the power you wield, guys. That is the power you wield. I can't say it anymore. Another interesting word, by the way, of course, as I was speaking of vampires, I thought it was interesting, because I looked this up earlier, but just wanted to share, you know me, prefixes, suffixes, and all the rest of the stuff that comes into play here. Well, I saw a vamp, and then I saw a pyre, right? You know, vamp as in to revamp something or whatever, and pyre as in, you know, a fire, a funeral pyre, right? Pyramid, fire in the middle. That's what they want to control. They want to control your fire in the middle. You know, yet there are others out there that are looking at the pyramids like there's something good. There's something to go ooh and ah and all the rest of it. I look at them and there was a time I looked at them and go, oh, they're beautiful. This is really interesting. And and then I thought, wait a minute, that's what mainstream wants me to think. And then I look at Egypt, well known for slavery. Wasn't it the Israelites or the Israels that were trying to get the hell out of there? That's all allegorical too, by the way. That never happened. It was never recorded in the Egyptian history. If you think for 1 second that a pharaoh getting wiped out and all of his army by a sea collapsing in on them after some guy had parted it, if you think that wouldn't have been written in Egyptian history, think again. Those guys are meticulous. Okay? I look at the pyramids and all I see is our control mechanism, a super smart meter, if you will. Long range. Throw the gold cap on it. And, I mean, look at the inside of it. It's exactly the inside of your head. It's a profile. The Eye of Horus is the profile of your pituitary, hypothalamus, and pineal. That's what the Eye of Horus is. It's a cross-section of your brain. And if you look at the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and how all the, seriously, look at the size of the thing, and they've got, these really weird-looking, diagonal tunnels going in it. That's the Eye of Horus again. So what are they trying to control? The brain, maybe? Maybe the slaves to keep them all, dumbed down and working really good until, suddenly one day, Son Mi from, 591 from Cloud Atlas goes, wait a minute, I'm awake. Where it couldn't control them anymore. Yeah, just something else to look at. So there's your pyramid, fire in the middle. Fire in the middle of your head, by the way, your hypothalamus. There's your Promethean fire. That's the Promethean that you have to reach, right? That's why Prometheus was cursed and placed on the side of the mountain, chained there for giving fire to man. It wasn't physical fire, it was allegorical fire. It was the mental freedom, right? Epimetheus, Prometheus. Epimetheus acted first, then thought about it. That's your typical slave, right? Got to go to work. Don't know why, but I'm going to go to work. Somebody told me I had to in order to get money so I can pay it all back to them, And then, of course, Prometheus thought first, then acted. And that's what the Promethean fire is. That's the fire that was given to us, allegorically. All right, so here's the word vamp, which I thought was very, very interesting. And I just had a quick look at this before I came on, so I really haven't formulated. But here it is. Vamp is, to extemporize on a piano. That's from 1789. But I like going back, way back, prior to the 1500s. The 1530s in particular is when they really started to gear up the English language. That's where it started to explode and words started changing meanings and what have you from the original sounds. That's why for me it was all about phonics. Now, early 13th century, the word vamp was originally a noun meaning a part of a stocking that covers the foot and ankle. Immediately I resonated with Age of Pisces. Right? Foot, that's what Pisces is. It's at you got the feet, right? Aquarius is the shins, then the knees are Capricorn. Yeah, that's right. Thighs, Sagittarius, reproductive, Scorpio, and on up, right? Kidneys, Libra. Excuse me. Might as well do them all. Virgo is the belly. Then we go to Leo, which is the heart. Cancer, which is the breast. Gemini, that's the lungs and the arms. And then we go to Taurus, which is the throat, and Aries, of course, is heaven, the head, right? Which doesn't make Arian any more special than anybody. It's just kind of where your sign is, right? You got to get the other 11 in gear, by the way. I got to tell you that. So, sorry, just like, but where was I going? Oh, so we have a vamp. So there's Pisces. Part of a stocking. So that'd be a veil, yeah, okay. Part of a stocking or a veil that covers the foot, Pisces, and there's that word ankle. And I looked at it the other day and I thought, oh, that looks a whole lot like Ankh El. Must be something to that. So the Ankh, of course, and the symbol words are escaping me. Ankh. What it represents. Why am I not seeing this? When we talked about it, that's why. But anyway, I'll dig it up. Sorry, brain's going a mile a minute here. L, of course, power of spirit, right? And the Ankh was used especially during reproductive to regenerate or to recirculate the spiritual energies. So it's, of course, the cross with the ovary on top of it is a symbol of it. So I thought, wouldn't it make sense that a vamp pyre would be, to cover that age, the age of Pisces, and our power of spirit turning us into believers, and of course then taking that energy from us and burning it for us, creating our own little nightmare we have here. I'm going to go into that a whole lot deeper. I mean, that was just something that hit me before I came on tonight, and I do like to ponder on these things to let things flow. Right now I feel like I'm forcing it. I don't like doing that. But there you go.
Can I add to that then with the Ankh?
Yeah, please. I was hoping someone would jump in there.
It's the symbol for Venus, which is love.
Right.
It's the divine feminine. So if you can chain that one up.
Which they did.
As a slave. I was thinking about it when you said, like, the ankles are Aquarius, but as the word Ankh there really is the Venus symbol.
The ankles are Pisces. The shins are Aquarius.
Pisces. Okay, there you go. So it didn't fit, and I thought, well, why? But still, it's the representation of unconditional love that Venus, the symbol for Venus, is.
Okay, so there's the allegory, a stocking or a veil to cover that. So vamp, pyre, makes total sense to me. It totally makes sense. They're feeding off us, feeding off our fire. They're covering our love, and they're covering us in belief, age of Pisces, to keep us ignorant, and feeding off our fire, our Promethean fire, our life force itself. And that again goes right back to the blood that has been perfectly purified, and the extract stored in your bladder that does, people just piss their lives away. That because you're dealing with plasma, pure life force. Has anyone seen that little video clip? It was a BBC clip. I got to dig it up, where they had taken. It's only about 2.5, 3 minutes long, and they had actually made philosopher's stone by boiling it off. It's done at a certain temperature, and it takes a while to do it, so they just already had this thing ready to go. But what they did was they took the remnants, which was like a little stone, out of the bottom of this jar after it had all been coalesced together, put it in another vase, and the guy put a match to it, and it was incredible. The energy coming off of this, it was like a little sun inside this jar, and it was eerily beautiful, the energy, and that was, I think, out of a liter of urine. That much power, that much force, life force. So when you're extracting the water out of the blood and all the nutrients, stem cells, amino acids, you name it, it's chock full of it. Do the research. And that's the thing is, you got all these different sites talking about, well, you got to be, if you're type, B, you have to eat this, and if you're type, A or type O or whatever, AB, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's got nothing to do with what you're eating. Nothing. It's ether. It's pure ether. That's what your blood is. I mean, Matt Presti and Robert Otte, I had them on the show, and great guys to talk to. I love those guys. And D. Thomas Murphy as well. But I had Matt and Robert on the show and had them go through it. This is why this all clicked. Because blood is ether. It travels through your body imploding. It's energy implosions. And of course the heart can't do it. At the thickest point, the heart's 2 millimeters thick. And you're asking it to pump 72 times a minute, on average, that's your heartbeat, 72 times a minute, to pump blood all the way through your body, right down to the tips of your toes, top of your head, ends of your fingertips. Do you know what kind of pressure that is? To move, and blood is not like water. It's viscous. It's far thicker because it's a duality. It's both physical and ethereal. And the water that's getting taken out of it are the waters that are touching the ether. That's why they call them blood vessels. That's why your body's a vessel. As above, so below, microcosm, macrocosm. All right? So, and here's the other thing, and you want another proof of it. When you put a penis and a vagina together, they kind of have this thing about creating life. So the only thing that actually comes out of either one of them is life. Yet we've been raised to say, oh, we got to get rid of the pee, that's all. That's just waste. No, the waste goes out the other end. You're trying to tell me that the body has two means of getting rid of waste? I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me in a logical sense. It just doesn't. Because here's the thing. When it's going through the intestines, like everything going through, the body's doing its best to pull all the water out of it to conserve that life force. That's why diarrhea is so dangerous, because you're literally draining your life force in rapid fashion. That water's coming out of your blood. That's life force, guys. Anyway, jump in there.
I've got a document somewhere on my computer I received a few years ago about the Philosopher's Stone. I think it was White Orm they were calling it as well. And it was a 3-year distilling process where the guys had distilled their own urine for 3 years, and it ends up as the immortal White Orm, or the spiritual essence. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's on my computer, and I remember looking at it, thinking, I wouldn't mind doing that, but 3 years.
You don't need to.
Now I'm just drinking it, instead.
Well, and the other part of it too is if you can get yourself to the point where you're just recirculating it, or not to get so that you're not actually having to expel it from the bladder, so it actually stays in the body and gets reabsorbed, because they will. I mean, I used to, like, I'm talking, I'd be outside, framing and doing whatever, 32, 34 degrees Celsius, and I'm talking not have to use the bathroom all day at all. It's all I can do to keep the liquids in, right? So there it is.
Here I am. You're the distiller. I'm the distiller. That's all. Our body distills it, so I don't need a machine.
You don't need a machine, no, absolutely not. And if you get yourself into balance with the right amount of intake of waters, liquids, so that you're not actually expelling it at all, then you're retaining it in the body, in the dark, where it really should stay, and not having to worry about it. There was a video somebody had put up, some 85-year-old guy. The claim was that hadn't eaten or drank anything in 70 years, and they were studying him. He was there for like 4 days and didn't take any water, didn't take any food, nothing. It's I don't know about you, but most people, you can pretty much die of thirst second or third day, no problem. Dehydrate. This guy, he was fine. So it's there. The information's there, and we're starting to see more and more of that which has been hidden from us for so long to keep us in a state of mortality. But the Philosopher's Stone, there's a book. It's I forget how many pages. I've got it. I think I'll probably swing it over to Ninja. Maybe we'll get it thrown up on the WordPress site. Book of Aquarius. That was my first real introduction to the Philosopher's Stone. So, no problem, Cindy. Absolutely. As you said, when I'm writing to post it, I will. I'm just checking my things here. Yeah, so jump in, guys.
I wanted to add, my son wanted to call Evie a Pokemon name, and he comes up with all these weird names, and I'm saying, I'm not calling it a Pokemon name. And I just told him about the story that we went with Eevee and the number 11, and he goes, "Oh, there's a Pokemon called Eevee. I think there's a Pokemon called Eve." He runs downstairs. He just came up, and yes, there's a Pokemon called Eve, and it's a dog Pokemon.
Oh, that's just a coincidence. Nothing to see here. Is my sarcasm getting better, or am I really starting to suck at it?
That's amazing.
The link you posted, Ninja, which one is that?
Well, I just Googled what you were talking about and I found that, so I think it's the one, but I've never seen it before. I shall be watching it. It's very short, less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's a very short clip, but it'll blow your mind when you see the power that 1 liter of Wii has in it. And when they lit it, it didn't just flash and go, it stayed lit. It kept going. And it had this beautiful, eerie glow about it. It was not of this world. That's what the guy says. That's otherworldly. It is. It's pure ether. That's, more and more these life clues of my own, this walking between worlds that I've walked. Maybe that's probably why they slaughtered us, because there was a certain thing. When you're walking between the worlds, you kind of get used to seeing between the worlds. So for me, it's not a stretch to understand the as above ether, so below physical. And I've said it for a very long time that everything here in the physical is a mimic, a shadow, a mirror of the ethereal. And all we have to do is step to the other side of the looking glass. My clue was easy. Mine was broken on this side, so I had to step through in order to see me. It's pretty cool. Definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. If not a little fraught with nerve-wracking, absolute terror. But other than that, it was, it's a good thing. At the end of the day, it's a good thing. I can deal with it. And look at the gift it became, eh? So much for that curse. Oh well. Wow, everyone's so quiet. Oh, we lost Mim. I'm just going down the board here, and
I'm just chilling out. It's a nice, relaxed vibe this evening again.
Yeah, well, it's kind of where I like to be. It's we have our nights of here's what the ego is, here's what it does, here's what it looks like, here's what it smells, tastes, and feels like, here's what a chainsaw does to it. Let's go on to the next one. Those are fun.
I like those ones as well. I like those evenings too, but
yeah,
the
not all
last
the time,
night
though.
Tonight has been a lot more chilled out, and that's why I've got very little to. Well, actually, I haven't got very little to say. I've said an awful lot earlier in the show, which is even more than I normally say in any other kind of show. So there you go. I don't know. I'm going to shut up now.
well, exactly. And last night, I guess about an hour and a half in, might have been about an hour, about halfway into the show, I hit my proverbial wall. And that's, when that happens, all I have to do is just go in zone. And where I don't want to do anything, I just want to do what I want to do. I don't feel pressured to do it. And what I wanted to do so badly last night was just get back to Cloud Atlas and run it again. But follow the marker of the comet when you see that. I'm going to try to. I'm pretty sure it's still available at a link to download for another day or so. It was on. To talk to Postmonster Larry and see if he can share that link again. Very, very powerful movie. Along the same lines as Inception, The Adjustment Bureau. For me, these are things that I look at. Another one that I'm going to revisit, I'll probably revisit it tonight in the allegorical sense, is Clash of the Titans. I've talked about it many times, the story of Perseus. I've got new eyes to see it this time, though, from the last time that I saw it. And I'm talking from a very strict allegorical perspective. I got thinking about Medusa. Of course, her head was filled with what? Serpents? Which is there's your divine feminine kundalini allegory right there. And the only thing that could kill the Kraken was to look into the eyes of pure, divine, feminine essence. It's going to go a whole. I can feel a whole essay on that one all by itself. But of course, the character Io, the goddess, the first goddess Io, which is the masculine, feminine. I being 1, O being 0. Funny how they look the same, eh? On, off, masculine, feminine. Phallus, Vesica Pisces. The O of creation. It all fits together, and of course, at the end of the story, Io ends up, getting killed, and as a gift for his perseverance and actually defeating the Kraken, he is given the gift of Io in a mortal form. Because as for people that don't know the story, with Io, she was cursed with eternal youth. And while most people think that'd be awesome, yeah, it would be awesome until you watch 3 or 4 generations of your friends and, of course, your original family dying off, all of them, any children that you would have had, outliving them. I don't know what kind of a blessing you could see that as, but if everyone had eternal youth, it would be slightly different. Then we'd all be hanging out, right? But a lot of different allegories, different layers there. Especially in the movie, they use the taming of the giant scorpions. They bring in the jinn, and of course, the last word the jinn says when he sacrifices himself to blow apart part of Medusa's body was, he said, together. And that's how we do this, guys. We do this together.
I remember that movie, Kate, and I remember that in the scene where he goes to obtain Medusa's head, he can't look at her without being turned to stone, right? So he uses a mirror?
Yeah.
Has to look in the mirror.
Has to look in the shield. The shield was a mirror. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You have to look in the mirror to find it.
Yeah, so to see the divine feminine and where you can reach it, you have to look in the mirror.
Funny that, eh? Almost like a coincidence or something.
Nah, forget it.
Nah.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. We'll move along. I'm sure there's a circus around here somewhere to stare at.
Well, I've got some bread. I don't know. We could feed the ducks.
I've been feeding the birds today bread. I think they were getting tired of crackers, so I brought out the bread today. Yeah, it's kind of funny. The sparrows will come up and sit on the rail now, like, yo, bitch, where's our snacks? Oh, and literally, you get the energy from them. It's like, oh, okay, and they're, where they would never land on the railings before. They're coming up and just landing on the railings and just sitting there, and they kind of look at me, giving the head tilt, and it's like, anytime. And then I get up and go and get them the bread, and of course they're sitting down on the fence below. As soon as I throw it down, they're there. So all I got to do now, it's kind of funny. I just have to go, right, and the birds show up and the squirrels, and they know exactly what it is. I got a couple here that as soon as I see them, I'll do that, and they'll look up, and then I hold my finger up and say, "No, just give me a sec. I'll go get you something." And it's like, oh, okay, and they wait, and then they go in and get them, and come out, and they're still sitting there, and it's like, here you go. So they know. So I got lots of really cool little friends around here. It's neat.
Very connected.
Yeah, it's unconditional. It's really neat, It's like even the insects, right? It's like insects, like nothing really that weird or strange, whatever, but they'll land on my computer and stuff, and I'm like, hey, you don't want to sit there because I don't want to have, just in case I'm typing and you get in the way, and they leave. It's just, if somebody said, how do you stop mosquitoes from biting you? I said, well, I struck a deal with the mosquito consciousness. I wish you no harm whatsoever. If you feel the need to come over and attack me, though, and try to steal my blood, it will cost you. There's my deal. I don't get bit. Funny that, eh? I remember last summer, that's when I cut the deal with the consciousness of it. And I think the whole summer, I think I had 2 or 3 try. That was it. That's unheard of, especially at my sister's place. I'm in the tent too, and I'm talking, lots of bugs, lots of bugs. But no, never got stung, never got bit, never. Oh, and remember the one day this beautiful dragonfly, big one too. It was big. Ended up flying into the tent, and I had the front there. It was like a 2-part. The front was meshed, so like a sitting area, and so you could be in there away from the bugs, and of course not waterproof at all. I know I had to pile all the stuff inside the tent many nights, and of course the main part, the dragonfly went right through. I had both flaps open and went right into the main part of the tent. So I went in there. It was like buzzing around, thinking, "Oh, this poor thing! I don't want to hurt it." And it stays in here. It's not going to last. So I ended up, I think a pair of jeans or something. I managed to get it to sit on the jeans, and then I carried it outside, and it stayed there for me to. I'm looking at this thing. It's beautiful, and I'm looking at it, and of course the green that I'm going to be getting. I've got a dragonfly tattoo on my back. Green that I'm getting. Guess what? It was the exact green of this. So again, and of course the car I'm traveling in right now, the seat covers, I knew it was mine because the seat covers looked almost identical to my tattoo. These are the kind of things that I follow. I just go with it, and that was the other reason, a couple of reasons why with the car I've got, that I had to get the engine replaced. It certainly probably would have been cheaper just to buy another one, but given the fact that I have no name and the way this one was set up, rock hard place, so I had to go with the hard place. But there's more instances of just trust yourself, trust your road. You're on your own yellow brick road, guys. Trust it. Stop denying it, and you'll see it. It's beautiful. I mean, Kim gave some great examples of things that she was looking at, and where it may not completely resonate with me. I have my own clues, my own Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs that I know when they appear, that are mine specifically, and you have yours. There are things in your life, your experiences, and you'll notice a thread throughout it all. There is a common thread right through your entire life. Just spend the time to see it, Start asking yourself the questions, why did I, want to do this for, a career or a living or a hobby or whatever the case may be. And everything that you've done matters. Everything is threaded together with a single thread. That is your thread of the fabric in the universe. All you got to do is start looking for it. And it's not hard to find. You'll find the things that resonate with you very quickly. Look at the things that you have in common with everything that you did and everything that you're doing right now. Like I look back over my life, everything mattered. Now, and again, I go right back to when I was raped. That was my first encounter with Admiralty. And the allegory was very simply this. Admiralty's raping us. That's how I look at it. And that was a good, not an easy clue, but a good one. You know what I'm saying? So take it in stride. See it for what it is. Neutralize it. Take emotion out of it and see it for what it is. Spend the time with you. God, you are the most precious being in the universe. Why don't you spend time with you? Look what this system has done to us. It's made us, so distracted. We're looking out for answers we'll never find. And something else too. We are, infinitely and intimately connected with our own groups, our own clusters. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Soul groups, I think they call them. Who knows how large they are? I mean, I look at Cloud Atlas and I see a very small, cross section of what a soul group is. But here we are, in the thousands gathered, and growing. And whether it does or not, that's not relevant to me. That is certainly not a focus for me. I'd sooner have one very astute, well-awakened being tuned in versus 10,000 or a million coattailers. Because it's all about the intent. It's all about the energy. What are you putting out? And you can always tell the difference with beings. It's those that, and I'm certainly not speaking of this group. I'm speaking of experience in my life. Those that were the coattailers that clung to me. It wasn't because of me. It was because of what my physical represented in terms of bettering their lives, either materially, whatever. It was all about what I could do for them. Things as simple as having a truck, and Kate can help move everything because she has a truck. And of course I'd always show up, and anytime anybody needed anything, I was always there for them. And isn't it funny that the very day that I needed people, all the ones that I spent even most of my life helping, being a part of their lives, not one of them came forward. I had my one friend Richard was the one that came down and picked me up that night after the raid. I was penniless, in a light coat. I was driving. I had taken my daughter to a birthday party when they kidnapped me, and it was minus 21. I don't even know what the chill factor was. And I called him at about 4:30 in the morning. By the time I got to a coffee shop where it was the only place open, it was like 9-10 kilometers from where I started walking. And it was cold. And he drove an hour from where he lived to come down and hook up with me, and ended up hooking up with Sue later, because she was in a bit of a state and didn't answer her phone. And rightly so. I get it. It was a very stressful evening for involved. Sue, my daughters, and myself. And it was designed to be. It was designed to bust apart the family unit. And up to this point, they did a pretty good job. But that's okay. Because the other blessing that came out of it was the fact that I couldn't do what I'm doing right now if I was completely having to take care of them around me. They were taken care of by me in another way, and I know the connection there, because where they are right now, they're where they are because of things that I did in the past that connected up. This is why the universe is perfect. The simple fact that I chose to be a diver and a pilot has her living where she is right now. And by walking up to my best friend when he first came to the school from a new school in, what was it, grade 3? I think it was grade 3. And I was the first one in the class to walk up to him and welcome him, and said, "Come and hang out with us," and that's the guy that's with my ex-wife, taking care of my daughters. So these are all choices, all decisions. I look for the threads. I look for the commonalities, things that connect the dots as to why did I do that when I did. And it's only after, in retrospect, can you actually see it. That's why flipping the Chronos over, for me, is the ticket. And as this concept clarifies itself more and more every day, this is our game, boys and girls. This is ours. We got it this time. Great things coming. Beautiful, wonderful, incredible things coming. We're creating.
I'd like to add.
Go. Yeah.
To that. When you look at the links there following the signals, I decided to do my name in an anagram, and I have signs in it. It's also part of my red rhythmic skywalker signals as the Mayan astrology. I also have, so I look for signs. I've always looked for signs. So having you here with me, you're enabling me to get a different handle on it. I used to be too subjective, so I let it go for quite a few years, and now coming back to it with your guidance and my desire to keep looking at it, I'm loving the signals that are there. In my name is insane as well, and I saw the movie Cloud Atlas, and I've done a lot of past life regression and used to teach that sort of thing. So I look at how many times I actually went insane in lifetimes. It felt like I was going insane, but I ended up coming out sane, which is both ends of the stick in the one there in my name.
Sane means health, and here's what the difference little space makes. Insane as two words means in health. Put the in with the sane together, join them up, and in as a prefix means not sane, not health, right? So the same sound means equal and opposite. So that's your balance. It's perfect, beautiful. And it's about refiring up the intuitive. That's all this is.
and firing it up like everywhere. Look, have you seen the movie Warm Bodies?
Not yet. I've heard about it, though.
It's so good, especially having teenagers. I've got 3 teenagers and one boy who likes to play on a game that's going to kill zombies. It's okay, Mum. It's not real people. You know the program? Yeah. Anyway, so it's a teenage zombie love story.
Oh, nice. Oh, yes, I have heard about it. Yes, the boy zombie slowly, because of love, comes back into life.
Exactly. So what happens with it? At one point, the girl is talking to her other girlfriend. She says, "Look, just because we use a name and call them dead or call them corpse, that's just a name we've used for all of them."
I hear you. We got about 3-4 minutes. I want to make one comment on the zombies, the allegory. It's very quick. The zombies that we talk about that are so prevalent in the media and alphabet gangs and whatever, what that allegory is telling you that you are the walking dead if you're carrying a name. That's what that is. It's an allegory. And look how many zombies. They're trying to tell you you're walking dead.
Yep.
You're
and
all
in the movie...
Yeah, go ahead.
So he wakens up. He awakens because of love. Hold on. If only one shall awaken. They all did.
I kind of keep saying that. I mean, the Illuminati, they put it out there. They had to tell us everything, what they were doing. And, what was it? Somebody gave me the link to it. Again, I'll have to do another shout out.
Do you mean the Banker's Manifesto?
Not the Banker's Manifesto, no. It's I thought it was the Illuminati Manifesto, but it might have been MJ, it might have been Michael that actually posted that to me, so I'll scroll back and ask those guys. Because I meant to grab it when I saw it, and I didn't, and of course here I am talking about it again. But in the last line or two, it says right on it, "If but one shall awaken, we are doomed." The word doomed, by the way, doesn't mean destroyed, it means judged. And that's card 20 in Tarot, and that's only 3 away. Right, we have to pass through the moon, which I can only imagine what that's going to be all about. Morgan Le Fay, it's a subconscious, I guess, be the subconscious awakening, so I'll be looking for the signs of the moon, and then we have the sun, and then, of course, judgment, then the universe. The giant's dance, that's the end of the game. As we see it, we're in a new age, guys. We are in a new age. And I guarantee you won't hear anything like what we're talking about anywhere else. So I'm so grateful that you're here. You have no idea how much gratitude I have. It's nice not being crazy anymore. We're all nuts. It's perfect. We're the misfits. And it's only the misfits that can change the universe. I think it's fair. Nowhere else I'd rather be than right here with you. So there you go. Any last comments? We got about 2 minutes or less. Joe, Ninja?
Just thanks for another great episode, and enjoyed the show.
I haven't got enough time to keep going. Oh, sorry, go on, Ninja.
No, I finished. That's what I wanted to say.
Go ahead, Joe.
yeah, I'm just sending out my love because there's so much I'd love to say, but I'll do it another day.
Okay, love having you on, Joe. You bring such beautiful energy, and you connect the as above, so below. That's why I love when people from down under call in and are part of this, because I know the planet's connected then. We've got both hemispheres. Divine masculine, divine feminine, as above, so below. So thank you. It's always appreciated. So I guess that's about it then. Yeah, we're about 30 seconds off. So a great big thank you to everyone that is tuned in tonight. And tomorrow night we have Santo Bonacci with Syncretism. He will be on tomorrow night, and it's going to be an interesting show. Boy, are we going to have fun tomorrow night. We're gonna play Mirror Mirror all night. You watch. Well, we're going to do some charts too, because I know there's a few people, Saint Nail and a few others, want to get their charts done. So I'll definitely be getting those up and read on air for people. So much love to everybody, and catch you tomorrow.
Video provided by verdictproductions.com.
Because if you take it literally, it's like, what? I want to have a friend in need. Someone I need someone to, suck away my resources and sponge out. No. And I got to tell you, for many years, I really had an issue with that statement because of the way it came across literally. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Okay, kind of had a bit of a diametrically opposed concept in there, but when you understand what it is, a friend in need is only in need because of what they've already done for you, what they've put out, everything, right? So here we go. Did you know the people that are the strongest are usually the most sensitive? That's true. Did you know the people who exhibit the most kindness are the first to get mistreated? That's very true. And did you know the one who takes care of others all the time is usually the one who needs it most? Yeah, it depends on what you refer to as need. And some people probably approach that in a materialistic way when it's actually nothing of the sort. Right? And did you know the three hardest things to say are I love you, I'm sorry, and help me? So I say that with absolute certainty and with no issues at all. This is to all of you, I love you, I'm sorry, and help me. Sometimes just because a person looks happy, you need to look past their smile and see how much pain they may be in. And we all know that. To all my friends who have been going through some issues right now, let's start an intention avalanche. And this is the avalanche, boys and girls. And this is about flowing the unconditional love, compassion out there. May I ask my friends, wherever you might be, to kindly copy and paste this status, which I've done, to give a moment of support to all those who have family problems, health struggles, job issues, worries of any kind, and just need to know someone cares. The intention's out there for all of those people that need that. Do it for all of us, for nobody is immune. And that is true of both sides of this playing field. I hope to see this on the walls of my friends. Yep, I've seen a few times now, just for moral support. I know some will. I did it for a friend, and you can too. And I like the idea. You have to copy and paste it, no sharing. Yeah, it requires effort. So when you're requiring effort to do something, it means the intent is there. That's what I talk about when I speak of intent, changing your intent just by doing something. Excuse me. Something simple as I talked about before, boxing the signatures on fiat currencies, regardless of what type of quote bill unquote it is. There's another interesting thing that you guys may want to know for in the U.S. I'm sure it works the same here. But if you guys want to mail something, try this for a change. Just set it up as normal. Just don't include the zip code and put a 3-cent stamp on it. Yeah, it'll get there. Watch. Because you're sending it through a completely different jurisdiction when that happens, and it'll get there faster too, by the way. That's private mail. That's the real stuff. So, these are little things you can play with and try and have some fun with, right? So, you know me, I like I like doing that sort of stuff. Making judges bow and shit, and making courtrooms nervous and stuff. That used to light me up. Not so much anymore. I just see it for the comedy it is now, and that's all it is. And I can get into a rip tear fest on that stuff tonight, but if you don't know by now that if you're walking into a courtroom with a name, you're actually committing fraud, and sorry, you're guilty, and they'll hand you your ass. Remember, court is exactly the same as lottery tickets. Why do people play lotteries? Because on the off chance they might actually win, right? That's the thing, right? You think, well, you can't win if you don't play. I've heard that hundreds of times. I said, well, yeah, you can win if you don't play because you got to keep the money in your pocket that you were just going to piss away anyway. But that's exactly what courts are. I mean, they're the ones that pull the numbers, literally. They're the ones that control the kitty and the draw bucket and everything else. And they're the ones that will decide, who wins on occasion to keep up that lottery illusion that, yeah, you see, when you go to court, you can win. Yeah, sure you can. That's what they want you to think. I would just ask everyone, have you not been fooled enough for long enough? I don't see, let's talk about it in general terms. Even with all the vast knowledge that the free man, quote, sovereign movement, quote, sovereign citizen nonsense that everybody, is a part of and whatever. If we truly had all the answers and it was undeniable win using their techniques, they'd be winning every case, every single time. See, that's the thing with me. I know why the judge bowed, and there's a handful of people that understand why now. But I'm really doing my best to get that out there. It's an ethereal game. They have to yield. That's really the long and short of it. And once you know who you are, and people say, "Well, I know who I am." Really? Okay. Well, here's a quick check to see if you know who you are. Really, I'm talking really know who you are. Excuse me. One, do you carry any sort of identification? Okay. And that doesn't include everybody, because some people do, and they know who they are. There's a different game here. If the answer is yes, and you don't see why there's any reason why you shouldn't, you're asleep. Here's a pillow. Back to bed. Okay, if you carry identification knowing full well that it's complete and utter fraud, star comet looks just like the Cloud Atlas. And what is an atlas for? Well, an atlas is to show you where everything is, right? So Cloud Atlas, I have to look up a couple other things with regards to the sextet and do some background into that. I'll follow a trail there. I know it'll be neat. They always are. They always end up somewhere. Perfect, by the way. And then, of course, as the camera pans back, you look at the lights over top of them while they're performing on the Top of the Pops TV show, and all the lights are in the shape of an octagon. So there's another form of spiritual theft, stealing that energy. So, and that's something that's been around for a while, but it's just come back into my reality a lot more lately. And then, of course, what resonated next with me, of course, I read the Ta-Ro, or the thank you spirit breath. All right, Ta-Ro, right, Taro. And what came to mind, just based on the pictures, the way the pictures are laid out, is on the cards that I have, the Arthurian deck. It's the card's called the Fire Drake, I believe, or let's see. I think it's it is the Fire Drake. Yeah, the star, the Fire Drake, ruled by coincidentally Aquarius. Neat, eh? So that's card 17, and there's 22 cards in the major arcana. And if you remember back to February when the lightning struck the Vatican, almost immediately someone sent around a picture of the Rider-Waite deck that has the picture of the tower with the crown falling off and a lightning bolt hitting the top of it. And I mentioned that back then, during that time, in relation to the tarot deck and how things, they've got the Illuminati playing cards. I've got the Universal playing cards. So I'll see you and trump you with the cosmic laws. Here we go. So anyway, the star is number 17. So we have the ones that are left are the moon, then the sun, then judgment, then the universe. All right. So things are playing out rather neatly. But here's the meaning of the star ruled by Aquarius, card 17. Hope, a good omen and inspiration, rebirth and opportunity, rejuvenation of the spirit after a trying and traumatic time. Freedom and a clear head allows a broader vision of the future, a chance to take a deep breath, contemplate, and draw inspiration from the natural beauty that surrounds you. Recognizing and believing in the future, wholeness and healing. The calm allows one to connect with the soul. Destined aspirations now seem to flow naturally into reality. Faith brings strength and peace. Recognition, a welcomed leader, openness, and a free flow of energy. So here's the description and symbolism of the card itself. Beautiful card. If you get a chance online, have a look at the cards that's called the Arthurian Tarot. And I had another. It'll be in the essay later, but I'll give you the heads up on it with regards to Artorias. But here's a description and symbolism of the star. The dragon of comets heralds the promise of a new era. The storm clouds of the tower have passed, followed by clear skies indicating calm, fresh air, and a chance to regroup. In this peace, one can recognize good omens sent from above. There's your now moments. The comet blazes through the heavens and the hearts of people. The star was thought to be a divine messenger. The call of destiny instills great hope and faith in brighter days to come. The smaller star represents aspirations, and the coming of the comet encourages one to take heart and reach for them. The horsemen ride in an open landscape, reflecting the freedom associated with the card. The winds blow cobwebs from the mind, clearing it of complicated details and dead wood. Now we are able to recognize the broader scope of things. Here, the horsemen break from their journey, water the horses, and marvel at the sight. This symbolizes that one can be content to rest and contemplate at this point in time. One of the horsemen draws water from the lake. This represents tapping into a free-flowing source of energy. The water is a source of life. It purifies and heals the weary. With this rejuvenation and new clarity of vision, one can appreciate and draw both strength and inspiration from the surrounding beauty. Hence, the fireflies in the foreground. Hearts are warmed by the sight of little beacons in the night. And it's interesting because walking down the trail not so much the last couple of nights, but it's been very cold, but it'll be nice tonight. Watching the fireflies. So these are all things that when you're paying attention to now and you start seeing them, you start recognizing them for what they are. These are not coincidences. These are not fluke. Not at all. Nothing is a coincidence. Nothing. When you really don't believe that, know it. Right? There are no coincidences. Everything for a reason. All things in their time. And the time is now. What are the odds? Anyway, so lots of neat stuff tying together, and of course I'm going to do my best to convey it. It's easier for me to do it in essay form where I can really get down to the meat and potatoes of it, because those are downloads as well. Unfortunately, I can't type as fast as it comes in, but I'll do my best anyway. But I thought that was neat. What was the tie-in you had, Ninja? You had a tie-in with that video this morning when I shared it with you. And feeling good and getting, mental results, heart results, then by all means, all you got to do is share a link. And I know a lot of you do. I see the share page posts on Facebook. And, you have your own network of friends and family and whatever. And it's a no harm, no foul, just by sending a link around. Let them figure it out for themselves. And a lot of times people as well, and how many times have we made this error? People have, said, well, I don't think so-and-so would really, get into it or whatever. And I said, well, how do you know? Seriously, how do you know? I've come across a lot of interesting people in my days that, at first glance or first conversation, you kind of think, oh, no, they really wouldn't want to get into something like, this or whatever, only to find out that that's exactly what they're all about. A lot of times people won't won't open up for fear of retribution. You know it's like with knowing the truth and trying to share it. Stop wasting your time in that regard. But definitely, plant the seeds. Just do the little seeds game that I talk about. As above, so below. It's like taking a handful of hemp seeds and throwing them out in front of the police station, front lawn. Really? Why not? Can you imagine man-made laws trying to outdo the laws of creation? Is that arrogant or what? But anyway, there you go. Definitely. And I know that Paul with Critical Mass is running 2 full platforms, like full-on platforms. And I know typically for a year per platform, you're talking probably about $1,200 to $1,400 to keep that platform up on prime time. So, and he lets me do this. Au gratis. This is CMR doing this for us, right? This is Paul, Lisa, and the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk. That literally, we were down on the Friday night. Next, Saturday night we're back up on CMR. Didn't miss a beat, and no questions asked. Just go, get her done. So there you go. That's the kind of people we're dealing with. Pretty good, eh? I think so too. Yeah, I couldn't be more appreciative, and you can call it, for me, this is almost like spiritual therapy, right? Where I get to go through the things that I do, downloads and whatever, and then just share them, and people can jump in as well and be a part of that. But I did want to share a couple of beautiful coincidences. I shared one of these with you already today, Ninj. I'll back it up a little bit, and because I was talking about Cloud Atlas last night, and what I want people to look for. The common thread that you're going to see throughout the whole movie is that in each of the lifetime segments, and it ranges from 1849 to 2144, okay? And each lifetime has a different setting. There's also a almost real-time but fictional story movie that is going on inside of it as well. That one will take a little while to explain. I'm not going to bother everybody. The key thing that I want you to watch for is the consciousness of the individual is marked by a birthmark each lifetime. And that birthmark is a comet. Looks like a shooting star. Okay? And a couple of the characters that you see it on, it's very brief. There's a couple that are very blatant, and there's others that are very, very brief. And you don't see the last one until the end of the movie. Okay? So it ties it all together very neatly. You'll see how there are mirror reflections of things in people's lives that seem to repeat themselves. Mirror, mirror. And the common thread of the consciousness of the individual occupies different beings at different stages, yet that same being is surrounded by the same group, the same soul group, if you will, and as they interact with each other. Excuse me. So, which I thought was beautiful, interesting, and very clear to see. So that's the Cloud Atlas. Now, this morning, it was Susanna Cat sent me a video of the Jackson 5. And what was it called again, Ninj? Show Me the Way to Go?
Yeah, the song is Let Me Show You the Way to Go, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, working in the now moments, I take things literally in the now. So I look at things as they come up. So I saw that and said, okay, well, there's the universe telling me, let me show you the way to go, right? So I said, okay, universe, I'm in. So I clicked on it. And as I'm watching this video, it's great to see the Jackson 5. Of course, Jackson 5 is my life path number, so that resonated immediately. But it was really cool to see Michael Jackson. MJ, there's a tie-in there as well, do his thing. with his brothers, right? I thought that was pretty cool. But as I was watching, there was a couple of brief instances where, when Michael's performing, very young Michael, I might add, the camera comes behind him and you see the back of his jacket. And what do you think's on the back of his jacket? Shooting.
Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Damn straight it's our turn, and damn straight people want answers. Yeah, what are the odds of that, eh? Oh, yeah, I had to pop inside. The sun's just screaming. Yeah, so there you go. And a couple of neighbors are out too, and they're a little bit louder. So I will talk from in here for a little bit, and then pop out, hang out with the birds and the beautiful sunset. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Good, good, good. Welcome to Outside the Box. I'm your hostess, Kate of Gaia. Yeah, I guess the loudest mouth tranny on the web. Huh? How about that? That works for me. I'm sure it works for a few people. Anyway, there we go. So, interesting day. I say that every time because, well, every day is. When you're looking for some weird and wonderful things, you find weird and wonderful things. It's kind of how it works. And all you got to do is ask. That's it. Just got to ask. Nothing more, nothing less. So, just scooping over to the Skype room here, and holy smokes, you guys are just rocking and rolling. Anyway, so I'm going to do some shout-outs because I haven't done that in a couple of days. Not to the level I like to do it. I like people to know that I know they're there. But, okay, where are we here? Just checking posts. Just give me a sec. Excuse me, lots of interesting posts today, too. Well, I guess I can do shout-outs. There's no one chatting just yet on the Skype, but hello, Rachel, Catalin, 13 Tolman, of course, 4 others. Let's see who the 4 others are. And Rory, awesome poster, bud. As always. Yeah, you're just kind of going way outside the box with stuff, and it's really neat just to watch. So I just want to say a great big thank you. And, Karen and Cass and Susanna Cat. Susanna, absolutely love your words and messages. Wow, thank you so much. Just, yeah. That's pretty much it. That's all I can say. I like being overwhelmed. It's nice. Yeah, it's been a while. So there was an interesting post today. I'm going to share it with you guys, just for clarification. I saw this as a beautiful way of stating compassion. I'll know in a sec. Okay, as soon as my Facebook decides to act up, instead of being such a crazy thing here. I was working on Raining Cats and Dogs Part 2. I'm not quite finished yet, but I don't want to rush anything, and I don't want to feel pressure to have it on. But what I will do is share what I have of it tonight, if you guys are into that. And I've probably got about at least double what I've written to write again. So, of course, Facebook isn't responding. That's what Fascist Book is all about, especially when I'm on the air. I mean, it doesn't work great at the best of times, but it just slows down even more when I'm on the air trying to find stuff. And happy solstice, of course. It's already the 21st in Australia, so hello to everybody down under, just getting their day underway. Nice to have you. I love knowing that real Wizards of Oz show up. It's beautiful. So, great quote by Rumi, by the way. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And yeah, it's amazing how many barriers we build against love, and it's purely a defense mechanism of, being trashed lifetime after lifetime. We don't really get a fair start in it, but we got a good start this time because we have the finish as well. So just a mental note to your beautiful creative self here. As soon as I can get this scroll down, this is another beautiful. I like putting these things out there for you guys so that when you hear it, you're hearing it from a voice resonant that says, I love you. And I need you to know that. That's my need, you see. This is what you are. You are creation. You are perfection. Allow yourself to unfold into all of yourself that you've been wishing to be. That's enough said there. There's more to that, but that was just wishing to be. That's all you need. Yeah, the essay kind of, well, it's in the direction of explaining the whole as above, so below with regards to blood, plasma, spirit, and all the rest of it. So, yes, it was Keith Occupy that shared this, so I'm going to share it with you guys. Excuse me. And it's a very poignant statement, and it resonated with me. And of course, you can look at it from one of two ways. It's I'll leave it. I'm not even going to plant any seeds on it. This for me is just all about compassion. And you're familiar with the saying, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Because generally the friend in need is the one that gave it all for you. That's what that really means. It's, odd, and you're doing out of absolute necessity on occasion, such as carrying a passport to travel worldwide to get the word out like Santo did, and a couple of other people that I know that do it. Then you know who you are, and you're standing and acting in honor, because you know the whole system is fraud, and any name in the system is pure and utter fraud, and you're only doing it because you absolutely have to, not because you feel like it and it's convenient. It's when you're wrestling with yourself to actually, do I really want to use this piece to zoo? And I know, talking with Santo a few times, he just did not like the idea of having to do that at all. And I told him, I said, listen, you know who you are. Just do what you have to do. We've got to get the word out. This is a completely different intention now. You're not using it blindly and like an idiot. You know what it is. And that's, I go back to when I got the emergency passport on my terms. And I never got through customs so fast either way in my entire life. Not a single hassle. Just a lot of drop jaws. It was kind of fun, actually. But anyway, that being said, it really is about knowing thyself. And then once you get past that, you're out of the straw man, right? So, and of course you find the compassion, the tin man, and then of course find the courage to walk down that road a bit further. And I've heard many people say, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready to do this, that, and the other. So, well, if you're actually asking yourself the question, you're not ready at all. And here's the truth of the matter: you will never be ready. I promise you that. You will never be ready until you do it. Right? You got all these people that load up their cars with all sorts of supplies and camping gear and everything else, and they get everything, food loaded up and whatever, and then they lock the car up and go sit in the backyard. The car doesn't go anywhere. It's all loaded up, but they're not ready to go yet. So anyway, there you go. I'm just going to pop in the room here and see if anybody wants to jump in a bit early, just to say hi or whatever. Being Thursday night, I believe Carol has her phone conference tonight, and that'll be about 8:45, 8:45 tonight. So maybe I can kind of nudge her to get on and share the details for those that want to go hang out with Carol. We finished pretty much right on the clock last night. About halfway through the show, I hit the proverbial wall, and that happens on occasion. And I literally came in, and I just packed my computer and put it over in my little sleeping area on the floor over there, and that's where I set stuff up at night. And I proceeded to watch Cloud Atlas for the 4th time. And boy, have I got some neat stuff to bring up tonight. So, Ninja, the Super Ninja is jumping aboard here. What's up with you, hon?
Okay, yeah, Super Ninja, you're mad.
Super Ninja. Don't get in the way of her blades. You think my chainsaw is dangerous? Good luck. What's on your mind, hon?
Nothing's on my mind. I just thought I'd come in early and say hello.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you. That's what I asked for, and you did. You set up a WordPress page for Critical Mass Radio?
I did. For the supporters of Critical Mass Radio. That's
it. Can you, I was going to ask you that last night and the night before, and I forgot. I remember tonight, though. Could you pass that information along to everyone that's listening right now, please?
Yeah, if you'd like to support Critical Mass Radio so that this show that you're now listening to can stay on the air, and any other of their shows, their host shows that you may also like to listen to on occasion or every day, you can go to isupportcmr.wordpress.com, and it's a very, very simple site. There's really only 2 pages on there at the moment. Well, 1 page, 1 post. Check it out and spread the information around if you feel able to offer your intent for the station to stay on the air. That's a great service. If you feel able to spread the word on your social networks, that's another great service. And if you are able to make a donation to the cause, to the funds, then that is also a great service. They're all equal. No one thing is more important than the other. And so, do what you can. All 3 of those things, or 1 or any number of them, much appreciated. And when you have done those things, any of them, please do leave a comment so that we can see, what you have to say, and just get a nice vibe from whoever's visited the page, and, just support CMR. Thank you.
Oh, exactly. And that's a really critical point you just made there, too. If you're going to pop by, make a comment. Flow your intent, flow your energy there. And, the 3 ways you can do it is intention, of course, and getting the word out. And if you can, great, chip in. But you'd be amazed at how much power you wield just by sharing it around and bringing more people to this table. Still got lots of seats. It's an infinite table. And the more, the merrier. And, I've been doing my part for years in terms of getting people to this table. And I'm very grateful that you guys have showed up. And digging what's going on, if it's actually resonating with you and making sense,